Yo, what's going on, guys? Welcome back into Clutch B-Ball TV. I hope you guys are doing well. We still have a lot to talk about, even though the New York Knicks 50-win season has come to an end. Their playoff run after losing the 7 to the Indiana Pacers in the second round of the playoffs. Obviously, they were sent home at Madison Square Garden. They were up 2-0 in this series, but they're still in off-season. There's still free agency. There's still the draft. Even though the New York Knicks are done in the playoffs, obviously the Indiana Pacers are taking on the Boston Celtics. So that series is going to decide who goes to the NBA Finals. And then, of course, you got the Minnesota Timberwolves taking on the Dallas Mavericks. So that's definitely going to be big time. And the Knicks actually have a lot of work to do when it comes to the offseason. They have to figure out Isaiah Hartenstein's contract. Are they going to sign Jalen Brunson this offseason? Or are they going to wait till next offseason? Precious Achiuwa, who's a part of the deal. Are they going to bring him back on a cheap contract? OG Anunoby, like I mentioned, Hartenstein, the Thunder may be very interested. Are the Knicks going to solidify the backup point guard position? McBride has shown that he's very good off the ball as a shooting guard, but can McBride play the backup point guard position? So there's a lot to talk about when it comes to the New York Knicks, and even like more depth. I think Ian Begley came out and said I might be wrong, but a part of a report he's not expecting Burks to be back. I actually thought Burks might have played himself into a contract because of his readiness in the playoffs. I know Bogdanovich has one more year left on his contract, so there's a lot up in the air, especially when it comes to this offseason. There's the rumors of Mikal Bridges, obviously, as well. As long as Chandler Brunson and Josh Hart are on this team, there's going to be the talks of Mikal Bridges. Some people just want to run it back, even with the pieces that were hurt. They're like, when they get back healthy, we're going to be okay. Like this team, some people think, and I'm not saying they're wrong, that if we were healthy, we could be in the conference finals right now, or even the finals. Some people are very high on this team, and maybe we were just a Randall right away, or a Bogdanovich depth piece away. Sorry if you heard a ding, just got a text, but yeah, we have a lot to talk about. I can bring someone on if you guys want. Carl's in the chat. Appreciate being here, man. Yeah, I noticed you weren't in my live stream for game 6 and game 7. I was like, man, Carl probably suffering. He's probably super nervous. We could still talk about that game if you guys want. It's pretty much going to be a Q&A, though. We could talk about whatever. We could bring up any topic, and I can give you guys my thoughts on it, or just give you guys my opinion in general. But he says, yo, kid, what's good? What's going on, man? I hope you're doing well. Besides, obviously, the New York Knicks losing game 7. He says, because I'm still recovering from that game 7. Yeah, it still sucks. A few days after, it still sucks. I don't want to say I've gotten over it, but it's just like it is what it is. Just like we got outclassed. We got killed with injuries. It's not even an excuse. Brunson, he didn't play in that fourth quarter, but not like he played well even before that fourth quarter. We didn't play good besides what Dante DiVincenzo and Alec Burks in that game. And the Pacers were just better. Our defense wasn't good, but their shot making was unbelievable. To give them credit, they shot 70% in the first half, like 68% as a whole for the entire game. Just everyone playing good for the Pacers. I don't think there was one player on the Pacers that didn't have an impact. And injuries or not, that's the unfortunate reality that we're hit with these injuries, and you don't deserve to win a series when you get blown out like back-to-back games. Well, you could say the same thing with the Cavs, but this time you're on your home floor. Like all of those games won were on like their own home floors. This time we lost on our home floor. Michael says, I feel like the Knicks need to get a bona fide second star next to Jalen Brunson this offseason, and that would make them legit. Who do you think that is, Michael? Who do you think that is this offseason? I don't know if you guys saw the report. The Knicks aren't aggressively pursuing Donovan Mitchell like they were before. Remember when there was the trade scenarios that came out yesterday, last offseason, that it was like we didn't want to put Grimes in it and all that. Like, I don't think we're going to be aggressive going after Mitchell. That's the reports I saw. I'm not sure, like, obviously what's going on with the Mikal Bridges situation. So I'm very interested to see what's going to happen with the New York Knicks. It's very possible that we don't bring in any brand new pieces, maybe like some depth pieces, because I want to bring in as much depth as possible. And people are acting like Tibbs never played his bench before. When you literally look back to when we made it to the playoffs last year, Obi was coming off the bench averaging like 15 minutes a game. Quickly was averaging 20 minutes per game. Like when the bench is healthy, he plays the bench. He just has to trust the bench. And McBride's gonna have a full year of trust probably this upcoming season. He went from being in the G League, being sent down to the G League back up, but then when the trade went down, his role increased. So it's gonna be a bigger role for McBride, but no role is safe in the NBA. We saw that with Quentin Grimes. We thought oh, this is gonna be the year he's good as a starter, shipped out of here to Detroit. So if you're not producing, you never know. But who do you think that other star is? Daniel says, "Yo, what's going on, Daniel? How you doing, man? Keep OG. I think we have no choice but to bring back OG. And do you guys think Jalen Brunson's actually gonna take that pay cut? That report that came out by Stephen Popper, I believe his name is. He is a Knicks beat reporter. I believe sometimes he's right and sometimes he's not right. So there was a report that came out that he was gonna be signing a 4-year, $156 million contract, which obviously would be a lot cheaper and would be a giant pay cut. Because if he went on to sign a 4-year, $156 million contract, he would be eligible for 5 years, $270 million next year if he doesn't sign this offseason. So I'm guessing you just do that to help out the team and be unselfish. Of course, we'd really appreciate that. We'll see what goes on to happen though, because it didn't come out by Begley. But if he leaves that much money on the table, Knicks fans are gonna have even more respect for Jalen Brunson, because 156 million to 270 million, give me either one, but still, there would definitely be big time change there. But when you trade RJ, when you trade quickly, I believe we gave up a second rounder. When you trade those pieces, you have no choice but to bring back OG. And the thing with bringing back OG though is you need to get insurance for this guy. You need to draft someone to learn from him or be under him, because you could love OG, but there's no guarantees giving you even 70 games he's going to play. He's probably going to play 50 games every time he's here, and they're going to have to accept a very good record with him. And yeah, we're going to have to bring in a backup small forward, just in case he gets hurt. But we know how good a record is with him. It's just can he stay on the floor? And that Heat game before the Charlotte game, he played very well, and that was the game Randall got hurt. And I'm like, okay, we'll see OG in a bigger role offensively after coming off of a game he's showing off his mid-range shot, and then he goes on to hurt his elbow and shoot arounds, and he doesn't play in Charlotte, doesn't play for a long time. And then playoffs, game 2 versus Indiana, he's not just showing off defensively, he's showing off the entire arsenal offensively. He's knocking down threes, a couple mid-range shots, was attacking the basket like a beast. Even at Miles Turner, one of the top shot blockers in the league, goes on to injure his hamstring. So it just seems like whenever he's been on the rise with the Knicks, he's just gotten hurt. I've heard Devin Booker rumors to the Knicks. Would you like that? Carl, of course you can come on, man. I'm going to have my man Isaiah on as well. He said he was going to be hopping on after he had something to do. But I agree, you have to keep OG. Run it back with everyone, Jerry White says. I understand. It's just damn, we made it that far. We were one game away from the Eastern Conference Finals. The Celtics, I know they have no Porzingis, but they don't look like even the biggest threat. Are they going to go through Indiana? Probably. But are they close to Minnesota, in my opinion? No. So it's just damn, no Randall, no Bogdanovich, no all of these guys. And we came that close. Let's run it back. So I definitely understand that mentality. Definitely want to get Carl's thoughts on that. I'll drop the link. For Carl here. But yeah, we have a lot we could talk about. The Sixers are interested in pursuing OG Anunoby. They said if they don't get Paul George, OG is definitely going to be someone they look to target. Obviously, Nick Nurse used to coach OG when he was in Toronto. So maybe it's a possibility. But also keep in mind, his agent is with us, CAA. And when I saw the report that he was exploring, he was looking for other options, was going to explore other options. It also came out by Jake Fisher, which also isn't the most reliable Knicks report in the world as well. So I think it's possible that OG definitely comes back, seeing his success. All right, so I haven't talked to this guy, I think, since we won the first round. So there's going to be different emotions this time around. He was probably going through it. That's why he wasn't there when I went and did the live stream when we lost the series versus the Pacers. But I got to bring on Carl. Let me bring on Carl right here. What's going on?
fellas. Shout out to you, my boy Noah. Shout out to the chat, man. Look, it's tough times because you know what's killing me? What no one's talking about? It seems wide open right now, dude. Like, Celtics don't look that good. I mean,
Hmm.
they don't. I mean, with that roster, you would think they would be dominating.
Yeah,
Indiana nearly had them,
they should have
dude.
won if they,
You
if they
know,
if they inbounded the basketball a couple times.
right? Like
They
if
would
they
have
just
won.
did basic plays, dude, they could have won that. And to take game one, that would be a huge. And just to see, I was watching the Dallas, Timberwolves. Both of them look exposable,
Yeah,
exposable. So that's what breaks my heart the most, man. But
you're saying if healthy, you think we would have had a shot at Boston, or at least would have made it a series?
I think we would have took Boston healthy, and I mean healthy. Randall, Mitch,
Yeah.
Bogey, OG, yeah, absolutely. Our depth is crazy.
So would you add maybe like a true? All right. So let's say you bring it back Burks because I saw Ian Begley came out like he's not expecting Burks to be brought back, but I wasn't thinking he was going to before the Indiana series.
Right, right.
Until he started playing and he looked good in like every game. He was just prepared. So I'm like, we might have to bring Burks back. And I like McBride better off the ball. And I know there's this scenario like we could draft a backup guard, but will Tibbs trust a backup rookie guard right away? Probably not. Especially in a playoff scenario. And I'm not sure how much this guard's going to cost, but he was actually like with Memphis when they were winning, but sadly was with Washington because he was part of the Porzingis trade. Tyus Jones, I don't know. Yeah, I don't know how much he's going to cost. He's the opposite of just like a pure scoring guard. He's also a pass first guard, and I think we kind of need that. Um, and overall, I want to pass first guard because I love Brunson. Brunson's the best player on this team, but someone brought up a good point on Twitter. It's like how many lobs did we have all season? Like, how many alley oops? Like we need to get easier buckets. We could say
Yeah.
it's maybe Tibbs' offense, whatever he puts together, but we could be the biggest Brunson fans in the world. We know he's not like he's a solid passer. I wouldn't say he's an amazing passer. There definitely probably was some plays that you saw in the game, and some games I was like, all right, that had like you left that out there. Um, but I want to hear your thoughts on Game 7 because I didn't hear your thoughts at all. Um,
Oh,
I'm not gonna. I didn't expect that. Like tired or not, beat up or not. We could talk about how resilient this Knicks team is and how amazing this season was. But I'll be real. I was disappointed. But go ahead. I want to hear your thoughts.
we blew it. We blew it. I mean, bottom line. And let's not even talk about 7. Game 6, we could have wiped them out. Should have been a wrap then. It shouldn't even have been a game 7, bro. We blew it. Like
Hmm.
we completely. I don't know if it was folded under. I can't even describe it. No, like to be honest with you, it was because I'm sitting there, I'm watching it. I'm like, all right, put them away. I just kept
Yeah.
waiting for them. Like, put them away, put them away. Once Brunson went down, I was like, okay, I packed it up. I put my lunch away. I was just like,
Yeah.
game over. You know what I mean? And it's just like because a lot of people talk about run it back, right?
Hmm.
But one concern that I have is what Randall are we going to get?
That's the thing. Because everyone keeps on saying, "Oh, we probably would have got a different Randall this time. He was attacking the basket more." But I don't know. Like, I'll believe it when I see it.
Exactly. Show me
Like,
one
like,
time that you can be effective in the playoffs, then I'll buy in.
and it's not even me hating on Randall because, well, during that year, because obviously when we made it to the playoffs, everyone loved Randall. But the year
Yeah,
after, everyone had mixed feelings when he was thumbing down the
yeah,
crowd and
yeah.
remember all that nonsense. So it's crazy how much has changed. And I respect Randall when I listened to a podcast, forgot who he was on, that he was like, he really wanted to go to New York and take on the challenge, like when we were bad, like when we had Fizdale. So I respect the hell out of Randall. And I think he's a part of this culture really building. So the first year, let's take a look at the first year in the playoffs. All right, so
Oh
he's
God.
like he's like the only. So we look at that lineup. We were the fourth seed. I don't like saying like teams overachieve, but like you're the fourth seed and you have Alfred Payne starting as your point
Alfred
guard.
Payton. Is
You
he
have
even in the league anymore?
I think he's in the G League. You have Nerlens Noel, who I have respect for, but he had the worst hands ever, nothing offensively. So you have two guys right there that are liabilities offensively. You have Reggie Bullock, who can't create his own shot, and not like he was knocking down the three. RJ, second year player. But yeah, Randall's efficiency was really bad that series, but I kind of gave him the benefit of the doubt. Like, well, who was really going to help him out that series? Like, we were literally counting on Derrick Rose and Alec Burks that
Exactly.
series. That series. Next year after that, obviously we don't make it to the playoffs. We brought everyone back, like, but then we brought in Fournier and then Kemba, and obviously Kemba didn't work out. So the year after that, I was like excited, like, oh, we have Brunson this time. Like Randall's gonna excel, but Randall gets hurt. So it's like, and he had like a couple good games in that Miami series.
Yeah, he did.
So I started to think to myself, like, am I being too hard on this dude? Tibbs came out and said like there's a lot of players that probably wouldn't have played through this, but some of the shot selection, some of the walking back, like on defense, the body language, like he's an emotional player. I feel like
Body language, bro. It's the body language.
yeah.
And have you know? I don't know. Maybe it's me, and I want to hear your opinion on this. But when Brunson first got here, he never complained about foul calls. He never was pouting. And then after a few years with Randall, now he's constantly whining to the refs. Do you think that's a little negative influence? I want your feedback on that. For real, for real.
You think you got the complaining from Randall a little bit?
I swear to God I do. I swear to God I do. Because he wasn't like that when he first got here.
I don't think he was looking for contact as much last year, like Brunson, honestly. I don't want to say he's formed like an ego or anything like that. Like I don't want to say I don't want to say that at all. Oh, what? I don't know, because I think Brunson is just like himself. I truly believe that. I don't think he tries to let others like really impact him, because I think he is the culture. Like Randall, you could still say second most talented player on this team. And there's some casual fans that it's just unbelievable to me that I go on Twitter. People are like during the playoff run, people were saying Brunson is stealing this team from Randall. No, it's always been like when Brunson got like when the playoffs started, he showed us the playoffs. I'm like, this is his team.
Yeah.
Like when he truly showed us the team. But no, I don't think so. I don't think he complains about calls because of Randall. I think a lot of players honestly complain. So I don't know. You think so though? You think Randall's had an influence on that?
I think his body language and because it's not even just like he literally throws tantrums. Like
Yeah.
he like a 12-year-old. Like he literally throws tantrums on the court.
Well, we could take it another way. So who is his superstar teammate in Dallas who throws a lot of tantrums? Luka throws a lot of tantrums.
Luka cries constantly.
Luka's a fantastic player, but he even has said himself when he was on the JJ Redick podcast that he's trying to work on controlling, not complaining it. But no, he just complains. It's just I don't know if it's just the competitive side of him or just sometimes players complain that it's like clearly not a foul call, but I don't know. But what's going on, Muhammad? Appreciate you tuning in. He says, "What's up, fam? What's going on?" Yeah, this wasn't a planned live stream. I was literally just chilling. I'm like, I might as well just go live. I'll probably have some like more videos up. I usually upload a lot more videos. Usually I do the draft content. I make draft videos just for the Knicks not to draft these guys or trade back. And then I'm just like looking like a clown. So those two picks we have right now, I think like what
24 and 25.
Yeah, those picks are gonna be gone. We're probably trading those back. We're gonna be traded back to like the 60th pick. We're gonna just trade back so we pick someone with the last pick. No, I understood why we did it that 1 year. There's a video on my channel. It makes me look so stupid now because I was like, no one in the Knicks are not even gonna get Brunson. Like, we're not even gonna get him. And I was just thinking of it. I was like, yeah, Brunson's a cool player. Like, respect for him. But how is the franchise really gonna change? Right. So, when we draft, because at that point, so my dad's always told me about how like the Knicks have screwed it up, like no youth development, right? So me and my friend would always just be like, do we really want Brunson? Like, let's just go full youth movement, man. I'm like, and actually do it right. Because a lot of people are like, how many times have we rebuilt? I'm like, well, we haven't rebuilt right. So we draft this guy on draft night who's turned out to be nothing with the Thunder, Usman Jang. And I remember being pissed that we traded him because I was like, I just want fucking anything young, man. Until it turns out that like McBride's better than this dude that we got later on. Or no, that was another draft because I think this draft Who that? Oh no, we are only picked this draft because we traded back so much to Trevor Keels. I don't know if you remember him. He
Yeah, I
not
remember
he
that.
never ended up playing, but it was like all this trading back and all that was to free up cap space and create room to get Brunson. And remember when it took forever to move off the Burks contract and the Noel contract. We had to move off that to clear up cap space as well. So us tampering, having to give up a second round is probably the. I'm okay with that, obviously now for Jalen Brunson, the tampering and shit.
Did you see that ESPN report with the top six people the Knicks are looking at? I think it was Mikal Bridges, Devin Booker.
No, I didn't. I didn't see that. ESPN posted that.
I don't know if it was. I think it was. I saw it on ESPN.
Oh wait, I think I saw it on Instagram. It was so funny. So like they showed every team. It was like one target, and then for the Knicks, they showed like every fucking target that you could have.
Exactly. But I'm like, what are your thoughts? Like, because I'm thinking about it, bro. There's no way the Nets are going to give us Mikal Bridges. That's crazy.
Only through a three-team trade that would ever happen, probably. But and they value him at such a they value him like a number one option. I think it's because they're going off of. So I don't know if you noticed this. So obviously, when I think it was mid-season when the Suns traded for Durant, obviously Mikal Bridges went to the Nets. There was that run, like what 30-game run, whatever it was, that Mikal Bridges was looking like not
Yeah,
just
he
a
was averaging almost like 30 points a game.
yeah,
He was
he was
really
he was looking
good.
like a number one option, so it was like, "Oh, shit." Like, the Nets may really value him as a top option. Then this season comes around, he's still good, but not wasn't looking as good. So I wonder if they're trying to hold on that value from last year, but they want, like, multiple first-round picks. I think they want a young player on top of it. Um, but the way I look at it, we don't really value these picks anyway, so F it, why not trade them? Like, we're trying to win right now. That's the way
Exactly.
I'm looking at it. And it'll just be a different situation. Like, he's gonna go from being the number one scorer to be like the number three scorer on this team. Or even there might be some nights you see OG really aggressive. Or obviously the lineup would be different. Dante would go back to the bench if we get Mikal Bridges. But do you want Mikal Bridges? Because there's the report like we're not as aggressive going after Donovan Mitchell this offseason, apparently.
All right, like, because if you look at the numbers, right, contract wise,
Yeah.
um, it would have to be Randall.
Hmm.
That would have to go. So that means now OG's moving to the four, right?
Do you
Because
trust? Do you trust that?
I mean, OG can do it because Randall, I mean, was a great rebounder. That was something he was known for. You know, he was always
Yeah,
a 25-10 guy.
he is.
But
Yeah.
OG's defense compensates for the lack of rebounding. But he already gets hurt playing the three.
Mm,
Now, if you put
yeah.
him at the four and he's banging with like Carl Anthony Towns and you know, all these big guys, man,
Yeah.
like it goes from 50 to 60 games this season to maybe 35, 45 games this season. So that's what kind of scares me with that because I think our lack of size is a problem. Because if you look at all the teams right now, they have size. Dallas has Gafford and Lively, Carl Anthony Towns, and
You look at the
Gobert,
Timberwolves. They got McDaniel's, Long, even the
Naji.
Bridge players. Obviously, they have Cat and Gobert, but Nikhil Alexander Walker, he has pretty long arms. I don't know if you've noticed him, but
Yeah,
yeah,
he's a great player.
you have to have versatile pieces. I feel like we need. Obviously, we weren't healthy, but I still feel like we need more athleticism because it sucks to say. Like Mitch is still a good athlete, but he's not the same athlete that he was before. You go back, watch his rookie year, his second year. It's really sucks. He's had like I need to find a way to go on like a website to see how many ankle injuries this dude's had. Like it's actually sad, like how many ankle injuries he's had. Like he could still jump, but he used to jump like freaking like insane. Like
Jump
put
out the
put him in the
gym.
dunk contest type
Yeah.
like athleticism coming out. But when it comes to OG, good point with the physicality of him playing the four. We're gonna need to get an insurance for him if it's through the draft for through free agency because we know we're gonna have this insane record with him, but he's only gonna be playing. I love OG, but he's only gonna be playing like 55 games a season.
If
Like,
we're lucky. You know what I
yeah,
mean? Be honest. And
the
it's been throughout his career. He's always been hurt. He always gets hurt.
yeah, I think the most games he's played in his career was 70.
70
I
something.
want to say so. It's just one of those things. It's like, all right, he's gonna be playing 52 games. We just hope he's healthy playoff time, which Do I like that completely? No, I don't. I don't love that. But we're just in a situation with OG. By the way, I don't know if you saw. I know Philly's interested in OG. So with Philly, apparently, if they can't get Paul George, OG's their backup plan because they have a bunch of 1 year contracts that they can get off the books, and Tobias Harris's contracts off the books. So, and I think Paul George has a player option, so he
Yeah,
might.
he's gonna
Might
opt out.
but I don't know if he'll go there though. Kawhi gets hurt, but then Embiid gets hurt, so I don't know about that. I don't know how that would be a better
And
situation.
isn't he from Cali?
I think
I'm the
he,
wrong.
yeah,
I think
I
he's a
think
Cali kid.
I think Kawhi's from California too, so
Yeah, so it's gonna be hard to.
maybe he's just happy over there. But so so OG Anunoby, what's his market right now? I saw it earlier. Like if we had to re-sign OG Anunoby,
It'll probably be between 30 to 35 a year. I'm guessing.
would you do that?
You have no choice.
Yeah, I was gonna say you have no choice, right?
Dude, we gave up quickly, Randall. RJ, and I think it was 2 second-round picks, right? So how
Yeah.
stupid would we look if he just walks out the door, man?
That's what I brought up. People were saying, well, we have to let him go because he's soft. He only plays this amount of games. You traded RJ. You invested your third overall pick in the draft. You don't know when you're gonna be picking top three again.
Ever
Um,
again. Exactly.
Quickly, who was like such an important bench piece. Well, they're gonna have to pay him. I'm interested to see what contract Quickly gets from the Raptors. That's gonna be interesting. But Muhammad says this draft is weak. Yeah, I'm starting to look at this draft more. Like I was trying not to look at it obviously during the playoffs. But I don't know if I told you about this. I was telling my friend. So apparently, the value of the first overall pick, you can't even trade it for a Derek White. It's that weak of a draft.
Wow.
It's not even like
Wow.
first pick's not even worth Derek White. And Derek White's a very good player, but
He's a
like,
good player,
but
but he's not a franchise.
the number one pick's usually supposed to be like franchise changing.
Franchise
They're
players, yeah.
they're saying it's like maybe a couple number two options to put alongside your number one, like some nice role players, bench players. I'm not a scout, but I've watched some of these guys. I'm not very impressed with like a lot of them. I'm not.
Nobody stands out.
No,
Nobody
no,
really stands out.
no one really stands out. But Muhammad says this draft is weak. It's better to trade the picks because we were always a quick fix team, but this time around we have a team we could build around. Get Donovan Mitchell. So yeah, let me hear your thoughts on Donovan Mitchell. I don't think we're getting Donovan Mitchell. I don't think we're as interested this offseason. Um, I'm not a fan. I think it's only been successful once, and that was Isaiah Thomas and Joe Dumars. You have like two guards under 6'5". I think Dumars was 6'4".
Yeah.
Mitchell and Brunson are both 6'2". Even Brunson said on the podcast that he's taller than Mitchell. Like he said, he's stood next to him. You get some athleticism, but your defense gets worse. I'm a big believer, obviously, in defense, but I feel like our offense kind of always dips. But obviously, our injuries. So you get scoring, you lack defense, you get smaller. Like, what are your thoughts on that? Like, people are going to say the one ball thing. I think Brunson's an unselfish player, and he'll try to make it work. I don't believe he has an ego like other players. So, what are your thoughts? Let's say we do get Donovan Mitchell. It would have to be through a trade, right? Because he's not a free agent this offseason.
He's not a free agent.
Yeah. So, what's your thoughts on that, Donovan Mitchell?
All right. Well, I'm looking at it like this. Like, if we're going to have to trade for him, right, I think they would only trade with us because I don't know if we have anything they want. Because I was talking to a buddy of mine, earlier on today. He said, it looks like they want to get rid of Jarrett Allen and move Mobley.
Oh wait, let's also say they fired their coach today, JB Bickerstaff. So maybe they chose Donovan Mitchell over him, so maybe he stays. But go ahead.
Because they're looking to get rid of Jarrett Allen and move Mobley to the 5. So that might make Randall enticing to them because they're going to need a 4.
Yeah.
So because I'm not giving up Dante. That's all I'm saying. There's a lot because I know they're going to probably want Dante.
You said Dante? Yeah. Okay.
I'm not giving up Dante. I'm not breaking up the Nova Knicks in any shape, way, or form. So if I can get them for Randall and picks, I'll do it. I'll do it. I'll absolutely do it. But that still gives us the same problem. What do we do at the 4 spot?
Yeah, are we gonna? Yeah, I don't want to bring in like veteran minimum guys. I don't want to do that shit like the Suns did. You get all these like crappy depth pieces. Oh, yeah, we could talk about a lot still when it comes to Pacers series. I love that you brought up Dante because I honestly felt bad for him this past series because I felt one game you didn't bring up, which I thought was the most important. We could have went up 3-0 if we just grabbed offensive rebounds, which wouldn't have led to Andrew Nemhard's shot. Dante DiVincenzo went off that game. I was actually disappointed in Brunson game 6 because he was healthier there than game 3 and or whatever games it was. And
Three.
he's usually a good road player, so I was thinking it was the injuries and all that. So I was disappointed to see him not step up. But Dante had a big time game 3, and he was big time in game 7, but we lost. But we have another guest joining.
Oh, awesome.
We got my man Isaiah.
Isaiah, what up, man?
We got my brother Isaiah. We got my other brother Isaiah. We got Isaiah Hardenstein. I haven't talked to Isaiah like in a while, like on call about the Knicks. So I'm interested to see what he's gonna hear, and hopefully he's doing well. What's going on, Isaiah?
Hey, you can hear me?
Yeah, I hear you.
Hey, what's going on? What's going on, guys? How you doing?
How you doing, Isaiah?
It's been a couple of days just to think about the season, man, and overall, I would say it was a success. For the most part, just the injuries, man. I just know for a fact we would have been in the Eastern Conference Finals. Like to me, it was a guarantee because Indiana just wasn't. I'm sorry, Indiana just wasn't better than us. They just, they were just more healthy than us, which it happens to every team every year, and it just happened to be us. For the most part, I would say that the Knicks teams usually are healthy. Towards the end of the season, but there's just little knickknacks and stuff. But yeah, this season was like more of the serious injuries. I mean, I saw a graphic. They showed the lineup. Jalen Brunson was literally the only starting player by the time the season ended. So,
and he wasn't even on the court at the end, unfortunately, because he hurt his
yeah,
ankle.
he got injured. So the good thing to me with his injury is that NBA players usually take a month and a half off anyway from playing basketball. So that's pretty much his time frame is the break they usually take. And because I know most NBA players get back to it by like end of July, August, they get back to working out, to give themselves a break. So I'm not, not really worried about him. Not really worried about Randall. I mean, everybody should be back. Listen, man, I think we just gotta get healthy. I think we gotta add a few more pieces. I'm more of the sense of going bigger.
Who do you want? Who do you want?
Oh man,
you want Mitchell still? Do you still want Mitchell?
Nah, because I'm looking at the league, man. I'm looking at the playoffs. I mean, all these teams, they're pretty big. So they're all pretty large teams from pretty much beside point guards. Every team, every other position is like 6'6" and up, 6'7" and up.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna say my dream pick, reality pick, and probably most likely pick.
Okay.
My true dream pick that would fit perfectly with the Knicks would be Mikal Bridges.
No,
that would be. I'm not gonna go down. I mean, we talked about it all these years. I mean, Kevin Knox.
Oh God.
But yeah, that would be my dream pick. It would be tough because I just don't see the Nets trading with us.
Mm-hmm.
No way.
I just don't see it. And plus if Mikal does want to, we would have to wait 2 years, almost. His contract's I think up in 2020. Yeah, like 2026. So that would be my dream pick. I think a realistic one could be Kyle Kuzma.
Never really heard that one.
I did hear
yeah, that's why I heard it today that he's on the trade block.
Well, they should be open to trading anyone, the Wizards. Yeah, they should be open to trading.
I think they actually want Randall. I think that it would be Randall Kuzma almost straight up or something like that.
Oh, that would that'd be interesting. See,
I wouldn't do that, Randall for Kuzma straight.
No, I wouldn't do that. I wouldn't do it either. I mean, me personally, and it's funny, Clutch knows how I felt about Randall, but I think this year you got to give Randall another shot. I think you got to see what he can do for you, and I can see the Knicks trading for Kyle Kuzma. I don't think, to me, I don't think it would be a lot to get Kyle Kuzma. You're probably talking about maybe Bogdan, maybe a couple picks.
Yeah.
For Kyle
Well,
Kuzma.
got to match the salary. Isn't he getting bank?
Nah, Kyle Kuzma's like what, 20 something, man?
I could check his contract.
Because Bogdan has 20. He's making 20. We can match that.
I mean, but Kuzma is their best player too, so they're gonna want something more than Bogdan.
What pick do they have this year? They have the second pick, the third pick.
I think they have one of those picks.
So Kuzma is an unrestricted free agent, 2027. He's making 23 mil next year. Yeah, he's making like 20 million a year.
Oh yeah. So we can match that with Bogdan. They get that off the books. A couple first round picks. I mean, but I could okay. So another realistic one. I can see us getting DeMar DeRozan. I can see that. I see him coming off the bench.
You think he'd come off the bench for?
Come off the bench?
That would be like a dream. But do you think he would actually do that?
Yeah, because I think he'll be a great six man. I think him and Tom Thibodeau would have a conversation. I think he would see that at a stage of his career, his age, I think DeMar DeRozan could easily win 6 Man of the Year next year. And you would ask him to do. You wouldn't need him to do too much. You could hide him on defense. You could let him feast on in the mid range. You know, he'll destroy second units because I don't think there's no real second unit that could guard DeMar DeRozan. Yeah, I think that would be a good one. I can see us getting I can also see us getting like a Justin Holiday type of player. I can see us doing that.
He looked pretty decent with the Nuggets this postseason, and then he obviously was with the Knicks before. Definitely wasn't going during the good days, but I remember him being pretty solid. What are your guys' thoughts? Do you think it's actually going to happen? So apparently Jalen Brunson's going to leave a lot of money on the table, and they say he's going to sign a 4-year, $156 million contract.
Bullshit.
And if he does that,
no way.
But if he doesn't do that, he's eligible for 5 years, $270 million next year. So do you think it's bullshit? Do you think it's actually gonna happen? If it does happen, let's just claim him the king of New York because that's the most unselfish shit
but if
ever.
he does that, he has the worst agent in agent history. His
agent is
his
agent is Leon Rose's son. So
exactly, like that means you literally not looking out for your client. Like you're just like, yo, come on, man. Like we need the money.
Well,
he deserves the bank. If anyone deserves a payday, it's JB.
I'm gonna say this. I'm gonna say this is my theory. If he takes the 4-year 156, we're getting somebody else. I think that's almost a guarantee that there's talks around the league. Someone's coming to the Knicks, and Jalen Brunson. This is showing me that Jalen Brunson wants to win a championship. Like this shows me that he really wants to win a championship. That like it's not about.
You mentioned Kuzma before, right? I'm sorry to cut you off.
No, you go.
I like that trade, and I want to go back to something Noah said. I would do that if I can get Tyus Jones too. Now we have a backup point and a 4.
Yeah, Isaiah, do you trust McBride to be a backup point, or do you like him better like as a backup shooting guard?
He's not a point. He can't pass.
Yeah, I
agree.
He can't pass.
I probably would prefer McBride as more of a shooting guard, an off guard. Listen, because I really do think the Knicks are. I truly believe the Knicks are a wing player and a backup point guard away. Because I'm trying to think. Because if we keep Isaiah, and I think the combination of Isaiah and Mitch is great.
Yeah,
I think that's great. Power forward wise, you got Randall. You also probably need another power forward.
We need another power. Do you bring back Precious on a very cheap deal, or no? You let him go.
Everyone hate. I don't know why everyone hate. I like Precious. I think
I
he
I don't want to play in rotational minutes, honestly, for us. Like, maybe it was just a matchup thing. Maybe he didn't match up well with the Pacers and matched it better with Philly. But he just looks so lost. What's Siakam? We're asking him to defend like one of the best power forwards in the league. I just don't like that he doesn't have like an offensive bone in his body sometimes. It's just
I,
sometimes so tough to watch. But Bogdanovich was hurt. Let's keep that in mind as well. So go
yeah,
ahead, Isaiah.
I would. Precious, man, Precious. I'm on the fence. I really, really am because there's like the Philadelphia series where he was really good. The Indiana he sucked. Which okay, that happens to everybody because I remember last year Mitch was phenomenal against Cleveland,
Oh yeah,
horrible against the Miami Heat.
true.
It happens. I'll bring Precious back on a cheap deal just because of injuries. I'll probably bring Precious back. But we need a legit backup power forward, man. I would probably. But that's to me that's when if you get a guy like Kuzma, you could put him in the wing / power forward position, and that could be like your rotational piece. Because it's hard. Because I mean, it's going to be tough because now we're talking about you probably if Isaiah because I heard the reports Isaiah is going to come back. We're
Hmm.
going to see the most, and I'm probably going to max him out, which is 16 million. I would be comfortable with OG making 28, 30 would be my tops for him. Even though I'm seeing the reports of 35, but again, if I'm the Knicks, I gotta say the OG dude. You haven't been healthy.
Yeah, you got to be real with them. We're gonna be like, yeah, we have this what is it, 26-4 record, whatever it is with you, but that's like when you're on the floor. Like we fit nicely as a team, but it's like when you're on the floor. So it's just his health, man. It's his health is
Yeah,
obvious.
it's his health.
but not only that, we talked about it. No, before you got on, Isaiah, um, we gave up a lot for him to just let him walk. And other teams, Philly's looking at him. There are teams
So
that are looking at him. I mean, if I gotta go, look, I'm in the 30-35 range. I mean, you gotta do it. Like, you gotta do it. He fits the culture, he fits the team, he doesn't need the ball. He gives us everything that we need. I mean, I know that'll put us close to those aprons or tiers, whatever they call it, but I mean, he's still in his prime. And he fits in with the structure of the team. I mean, you can't just let him walk.
yeah, I'm
And
also gonna
worst case,
say I'm sorry.
go ahead, go ahead.
I'm gonna say this because I seen the report today. I've seen a lot of Knicks fans worried. I'm gonna be real with you. That's the least thing I'm worried about. Because at the end of the day, he signed a CEA. Leon Rose is his agent.
Yeah,
I think the day he got, I'm gonna be real with you. I think the day they got traded,
they probably
the
knew he was
deal,
gonna be back the game day
Yeah,
he was
the
traded.
deal,
Yeah,
the new deal was already set. The new deal was already set. I think this is just more about probably, this is again when it comes to the Knicks. This is for the Knicks for clicks, man. I think there's no way Leon Rose is gonna give up Manuel quickly and RJ Barrett for a
exactly.
half a year rental.
exactly.
I
That
I
make no
don't
sense.
see
No
it.
way he's
Just
that dumb. No way he thinks. No way he thinks this is the equivalent to the Raptors traded for Kawhi Leonard for 1 year, and it's like, oh, we're winning a championship. Like, no
Yeah,
way.
nah.
If he thought
nah.
that, then it's just like you're more. But I don't
Nah.
think he's not that dumb. Clearly,
I,
um,
I would be I would be told I would be I would be as shocked as when KP got traded. If OG
I would be
goes to a
shocked
different
too. I'd be very confused. Um,
Wait, Noah.
but I
Let's
go ahead, go ahead.
let's look at Mohammed Youssef's comment right here.
Yeah, he says keep Randall. See, I'm
Trade
not.
for Vucevic,
He scores, but he
Mohammed.
plays no defense. Like Bulls fans were pissed when they extended him. Yeah, I think he has like a lot of money on his deal too because
Yeah,
they just
he's
extended
getting
him.
bank.
All
I'm good on
star.
I'm good on Vucevic. I'm good on him.
Yeah,
Yeah,
same here. All star and scoring big to pair with OG Randall and iHeart. I guess he wants to stretch big. I guess that's where he's coming from.
But Hart is our straight.
Where do you guys stand with Mitch? With Mitchell Robinson, people were saying just trade him at this point. He's injured way
that
too much.
that is crap. Everybody forgets what he was doing when dude was playing. When
That,
he's
but that's the thing. His health when he's healthy.
look, but we got him on bank. We got him signed.
That's
You know,
true.
so he's already locked in. He's still fairly young, fits the system, knows his role. I mean, there are not many players who can rebound and block like he can.
Oh, I agree. I don't think we win the Philly series if it wasn't for him.
Yeah,
Exactly.
I'm gonna say too that I know he got injured, but we gotta be real. We gotta be real
The
and
context,
beat injured him, man.
the
I
context, yeah,
mean,
that's
It was
true.
and beat
dirty.
it wasn't like it really wasn't like, oh, okay, the one of Mitch injuries where he did on his own. I mean, we literally saw Philly play pretty
I
much.
don't. I don't even think it was the first time when he ripped down. I thought it was the second time when he like fell on him.
Yep.
Like,
Yeah,
'cause
yeah,
I
yeah,
think it
yeah.
was.
People forget about that
Yeah,
one.
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah.
And
I
I
I
mean,
I love Mitch. He's been here the longest. Like he was here when we won
He's been our
17
last
games the one
our, la-
season.
our last tenant. You know what's funny, man? Quick story. I remember I went to the draft with Luca, Trey Young, and all them.
Oh,
And
I'll never forget. I think Sim. He wanted Mo Bamba or Kevin Knox. I think.
oh man, I mean, don't get me started because I argue with him all the time about
Who'd you want?
I
Who'd you want that draft?
me.
Yeah.
Uh, so I always tell people I wanted Mikal Bridges, but when I seen Michael Porter was open, because I was there when everybody was cheering for Michael Porter Jr.
Oh my gosh,
And
man.
then he said Kevin Knox, and everybody was just like,
what?
who the f? You know what? God, we don't got to talk about Kevin Knox, but I will say that no. Oh yeah, back to my story. I remember we left. And I remember I got the Bleacher Report that we selected Mitchell Robinson. I was like, who the hell is Mitchell Robinson? Like, I was like, okay, whatever. But then it came out to be like, Mitch has been great. Yeah. So to me, listen. I don't think the Knicks need center scoring like how some people think. I think between Mitch and Isaiah, that's fine. Isaiah is the scoring. Isaiah can score. All you need to me for the Knicks is maybe 14 points from your centers,
Yeah.
and you get that from Isaiah, and you
Well,
can
that's
get
why I think that's one of the reasons we lost the. I thought Hartenstein scored better in the Philly series, but in like the Pacers series, he didn't score much. I think he had like 3 shot attempts the last 3 games. I don't know about you. I'm a huge Hartenstein guy because I think that's the cool thing about having Hartenstein and Mitch, that they're like total opposites. That they're different type of bigs. One could pass, one doesn't have the best of feel for the game. I trust, even though Hornstein's a great offensive rebounder, I still trust Mitch to get the offensive rebounds. I trust Mitch to make more of the momentum changing blocks, at least in the playoffs, because I thought Hartenstein got dunked on got dunked on a few times. I was really disappointed in Hartenstein the last couple games.
Yeah.
I really was. You
Yeah.
can't give us 0 points in an elimination game. Like one
yeah,
shot
yeah,
attempt. I know it's more than him though. Like he's the center. He doesn't give himself the ball, but he's usually
Remember,
he was
he's
soft in
dealing
my
with it.
opinion.
Doesn't he have a bad Achilles too? Like he's been struggling with
Yeah.
that.
yeah. He was. Listen, man, we were. Man, listen. This
Everyone
might
had
be the
some
most.
like everyone had something bigger than that, so some people overlook that. Um I don't yeah, I would still try to like Mitch's contract's not that bad right now. What's he have 1 more year left on it? So it's not like he's a free agent. So I
No.
wouldn't I wouldn't look to trade him because if we draft a center, not like he's gonna be gaining Tibbs' trust right away anyway. I'd probably still draft a center just to draft a center, even with Mitch here, because
Yeah.
I don't want to see Sims on the court again. I'll be honest. I'm not a
Yeah,
huge.
I'm good on Isaiah Sims, man.
He's.
Jerko.
I think me and Carl have talked about it, or I talked about it with someone. Maybe it was Ron. I was on still Knicks fan, and he's like this very strong dude. He's so athletic, but he plays soft, man. Like he plays soft. It looks like he's scared of contact. Like he should be blocking more shots. But then there's a reason why he was the 58th overall pick. So
Yeah, yeah. I mean, at the end of the day, Jericho Sims is just like you said. He's a 58th pick. You can't expect. To me, when you get that kind of pick, you can't expect starter. You expect more of a G League type of guy.
yeah,
Um, yeah. Listen, man, it's the Knicks got a lot of interesting things to the summer. Like I said, Mikal, like, I'm looking for a wing.
I
Like,
want Mikal. I'm not gonna lie. I want Mikal over Donovan Mitchell. I just want
There's
Mikal.
no way that you're dreaming.
Oh,
Okay,
I'm definitely dreaming. I am
I'm
dreaming.
changing your first name from Noah to Once Upon a Time because that's a story.
Mikal's crazy, man. I think Mikal wants to be a Knick.
Oh, of
He,
course he does.
I think so too. Did you guys see the podcast episode they had Mikal Bridges on, and Josh Hart and Brunson were just rubbing it in his face about like how different the crowds are. They brought up the Nets game at I think it was the last time we played Brooklyn this season. It was an insane game when we had like the double block, and I think Randall had a crazy transition three. But they were talking about how when Mikal Bridges hit a huge three, the crowd got loud at Barclays Center, but not that loud. But when Brunson hit the three, it was even
It went
louder.
crazy. Yep.
And they were just like rubbing it in his face. I don't think Mikal wants to be there. Um, and Nicholas Claxton's a free agent as well, so I wonder if he's gonna go somewhere else. So a lot of people don't talk about that. They got a brand new head coach. Come
Nick
on,
I'll say
Claxton's
this too.
a good player.
If they keep losing, man, I'll be shocked if McCain still. The only reason why I would say is probably for more money. But even at that point, are the Nets gonna keep a guy that they can get a lot of assets for that's older that doesn't fit their timeline versus you just keeping them just to keep them?
yeah.
You know,
Yeah, but Isaiah, didn't
And
they
they've
pass up?
they have no lottery pick this year
None,
because the
none.
Harden trade. So they have
And didn't
they're
they pass up like 4 first-round picks for Mikhail?
and Jalen Green.
yeah.
That's crazy, man. Like
That's just
I
bad.
love
That's just
Mikhail,
bad
but
management.
Mm-hmm.
that
And
is
I get it that Jalen Green wasn't the most popular player before the whole drama with him and his
Oh
I
yeah.
think about
Some people were saying you only started playing good because of that. What
yeah
is
the whole
that older woman pregnant? Because what he's only like
yeah
23. So he's been up and down though. Jalen Green. I know he played better in the second half of the season. But Kareem says, "What's going on, Kareem? Yeah, this is like a dream. Let's get
I love
Giannis all in."
oh man
if we
Oh
could get Giannis, we're the best team in the league. I don't know how.
that's not gonna happen, man.
I don't know
yeah,
how.
I wish. Or I don't know. With Giannis, I think
What,
so.
dude?
They've lost in the first round 2 years in a row. Um, and they lost in the second round the year prior, and then but they won the championship the year before. So they're in such a weird position. Did they fire Doc Rivers or no? He's still there.
No,
No,
Doctor was still there. He'll get fired. He'll get fired next year.
yeah, when they
Her-
start choking next year, they're gonna. I think what killed them was Damian Lillard. Like I'm saying, I think he's washed.
It didn't work out.
I think he's washed. I honestly think he's gonna be Kyle Lowry next year. You know, like
Whoa, you think he's gonna have that much of a drop off off fat?
I don't think I don't think he's gonna be Kyle Lowry.
That's
washed.
crazy.
Washed.
I
I wish I
can
had a
see.
bar of soap right now to say washed.
I'm gonna be real. I can see realistically Damian Lillard going maybe from like a Damian Lillard season next year will probably be like 23 points, 6 assists, 4 rebounds.
Yeah.
I can see him doing like to me that's a fall off for where he was.
I wonder if he's gonna have a better year though, because I did see like report. Apparently, he had like a divorce, so that could have had an impact on him as well. So maybe some things off the court. Because remember the reports, he was like he always wanted to stay in Portland. So maybe his family was upset. So maybe it was more than just basketball. And that's just a totally different player for Giannis to play with as well. But the Bucks are a weird team. Brooke Lopez is older, Middleton's older. They can't stay healthy, so their window's definitely closing.
You
Kareem,
know who'll be good, Noah?
go ahead.
Sorry to say.
No, you're good.
Bobby
Go ahead.
Porter. Bobby Porter, man.
What?
I wouldn't mind Bobby Porter back.
Bobby Portis, yeah, crazy eyes. You know about crazy eyes.
Even though I don't think he likes the Knicks. I think he felt the type of way that we didn't re-sign him, if I'm not mistaken.
He might be butthurt. Okay.
So I think every time he plays against the Knicks, he always like I think he always has like this thing against the Knicks.
He killed us last time. I remember.
Yeah.
Even it was a game we came back and Brunson went off, but I remember him being like one of the main reasons why it was close when Brunson was cooking. I think Kareem was talking about if he takes less than 10 mil. I think he's talking about Precious. They're gonna have to DeAndre Jordan OG. What's he talking about here?
Oh, he's talking about remember that year he was pretty much going to the Mavs
Okay,
and
yeah.
Blake Griffin and Chris Paul they legitimately locked him in a room until he signed with the Clippers.
Oh shit.
That's why they had the Clippers and the Mavericks had beef because I think it was pretty much he was going to the Mavericks. Like it was pretty much done until they
Wow.
locked him in.
I remember when we had DeAndre Jordan. That was something.
Oh, holy crap! We did have DeAndre
Yeah,
Jordan.
we did.
And
Yeah,
we
we did.
and we had Wesley Matthews to come with them for like 3 games.
Oh wow, Wesley! Wow, we did.
He was here
Wow.
for like 2 games and he sucked. Buzz Beater says, "What's going on, Buzz Beater? What, you thought you wasn't gonna see me? I'm the Osiris of this bitch." Buzz Beater forever. What's going on, Buzz Beater? How you doing? Um, so we talked about Precious. Do you guys think we're gonna do anything in the draft, or you think we're just gonna trade these picks?
I think we're
Um,
going to trade the picks. I think we're going to
Yeah.
combine them and move up. I
do
think that's what we're going to do.
do you want to see any young like any young players for us to draft and then like develop them as bench players, or no, you're done with that? You just want to bring in veterans and try to win right now.
Well, so I'm always an advocate for getting young players just to set up your future a little bit. I'm always a kind of person that believes in thinking ahead a little bit. But probably where the next timeline is, because you got to think about our average age is probably like around 27, 28, around
Yep.
that age group.
Yep.
So you're still a young team. You're more your prime. A little bit, you're more towards your prime as a player. Um, I would prefer. See, I haven't been paying attention to the draft this year.
Yeah.
It's a good thing. But I'll probably if I did have to use the pick, I'm looking for one of the wing players.
Okay.
Like one of the 3-and-D kind of wing players, man. That's always been my thing. If you're not gonna draft a center, go draft a wing player. You can't go wrong for the most part. 3-and-D kind of guy.
Let
You
me
can never have too many wings, especially in the
bring
conference we're
something
in.
to you guys. Bring up something to you guys and the chat too. Everybody, feel free to join in. There's someone I really want, and y'all gonna laugh at me.
In the draft or free
No,
agency?
I mean in a trade.
Okay,
and
let's.
no one talks about this.
All right, let's hear it.
Laurie Markin. I want a 7-footer who can hit 40% from the 3-point line and give you 7-8 rebounds, okay, and a block or two. On a good day. He's still in his prime on a fairly reasonable contract. I'm saying I'd give Randall and picks as many as they freaking want. You put Laurie Markin in, Mitch Robinson, OG, Dante, and Brunson with Hart and McBride and Hartenstein coming off bench. I don't know, fellas. That's tasty.
You forgot one thing. You
Go
forgot
ahead.
one thing.
Oh, I know what you're gonna say. Danny Ainge hates New York.
Danny Ainge.
Oh,
I'm not working with that devil.
I agree though. I agree. Yeah, you'd have to give up Randall, but I do think Laurie would probably be a better fit here because he could space the floor.
Floor.
Is he tough? Is he New York tough though?
Yeah, I don't know though. Definitely have to
Because if you're getting Lauren, because Lauren Marketing is probably going to command. He's probably looking for in the 40s for his play. And he's a 40 plus player now. Young, can shoot, stretch the floor. My thing is two things is it's Danny Ainge is number one. Danny Ainge is just whatever we think is fair, Danny doesn't think is fair. Like that's just how he thinks when it comes to New York. Also, listen, man, Randall, he's proven. He's proven here. I don't know, man. That's a tough call for me, man.
Look at those numbers, bro. Them numbers are tasty.
What about can I see Randall numbers?
How many games did he play? I want to see how many games Markkinen played. He played 55 games. Was he hurt? Was Markkinen hurt?
He had to be hurt. 55 games?
Or were they tanking? This draft's too trash to tank. But yeah, but Randall was putting up. I think he was averaging like 24 and 10 before he got hurt. Markin definitely was having a good year. I know the Jazz sucked. I don't think that's all his fault though. Um, not really in love with the Jazz are building. What's going on, Parrish? Appreciate you being here. We're not drafting, we're trading. Tibbs won't play draft picks. I agree. I agree with that.
And I disagree with that a little bit though.
Well, I'm not gonna say he. Well, he has played draft picks. He's played quickly. He's played Obi. But I guess what he's trying to say is the mindset is like
Well,
after.
I do. Yeah, the mindset. Yeah.
But yeah, he does play draft picks. I do think that's kind of.
It took McBride 3 years to see the floor. Just saying.
But it became worth it though.
Quickly was a 25th pick though, and we saw him get minutes in the playoffs.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. Quickly had the green light since the beginning.
He did have the green light. I'm not gonna lie.
I just want a stretch big. I would love a big who can step outside, the 3-point line, open up the paint, and just bang, bang, and just leave lanes open.
What about what's his name? He killed us in the regular season, but he wasn't really playing with the Pacers in the playoffs. Jalen Smith, a free agent. Do you know Jalen Smith?
Yeah,
the guy that wears the goggles, the Pacers. I'm not saying I want him, but I don't know.
You know, I would look at what's the European dude from the Thunder?
The European. Who?
Pokovich or something.
Oh, I don't even think he's there anymore. It's Pokashevsky. I don't even. He's on the Hornets now. I think he's on the Hornets now. I forgot what trade. I think he was a part of because the Thunder had Trey Mann and they traded him.
I would probably do I know he's not that good, but I think a year under Tom Thibodeau could do him right, man.
I mean, look, since we're throwing randoms out there,
he's also skinnier than me though, so I don't like those chances.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, he's random names out there. What if we can get Bowl on the cheap?
Okay.
Yeah, I'm so tired. Can I say this, man?
All right, wait. We need to address this. I remember when people were saying so. After the summer league game when Wembanyama struggled, people were saying Bol's better than this. No, Shaq was saying the whole time Bol's better. Shaq, for someone that played basketball, Shaq doesn't really know about basketball.
Shaq has one of the worst basketball IQs.
He's just a hater. He's just a hater. Anyone he thinks he's the best player to ever play. That's pretty much it.
Oh, I'm not gonna lie. He does have an argument for that. He does have an argument for that.
I don't know. Because imagine if Shaq took care of his body.
Oh, 100%, man. He would literally be the greatest.
He would have been the great. And he even admits.
Wait, what you say?
I said, imagine if Shaq took care of himself.
Kobe said in the interview, someone asked Kobe, what if Shaq had your work ethic? And he said Shaq could be the greatest of all time.
Period. I agree with that. But I think his lack of discipline, his lack of focus limited his mountain peak. You know what I mean? He could have been so much
which is insane because even with that, he's still top 5 center of all time, which is insane. But yeah, I don't know if you guys do that. It's a little off topic, but inside TNT, I believe they're done after the season because the NBA's rights are being bought, so it's the first year inside TNT. I liked watching them before they started crapping on the Knicks because they're even though they don't always talk basketball, that's kind of what I like. They're usually entertaining. They just say whatever they want, but when they started crapping on the Knicks, that shit was just corny as fuck, man. That was, but let's see what buzzer beaters say. Have you all discussed the Knicks hate? Reggie Miller. Oh yeah, Reggie Miller posted something. I don't know if you guys saw. He posted on Instagram. This is when the series changed, and it was when Josh Hart said to him. I don't know if you remember when Josh Hart was like, "Oh, do you hear them? They're saying F you," and he posted that on his Instagram saying this is when the series changed. I think Isaiah's frozen, so I could bring Isaiah back in.
Okay.
I'll bring Isaiah back in. I think he froze. But yeah, Reggie Miller posted that. Draymond, I don't know if you heard about that. He was saying how, I got Philly in the series, and then Isaiah's back. Okay, good. He was saying Draymond Green was saying, I got Philly in the series, and then when New York went on to win, he was like, I had New York the whole time, and he was just hating. Like I just don't get it. Like he was saying like, oh, if the Knicks go to the Eastern Conference Finals, they're not going to win it anyway. But still, can't you just respect it that we have all these injuries and we've gone through all this shit? Like, it's
Fine.
just so annoying. But it's just Knicks for clicks, you know. We're just always
Yeah.
gonna fucking get hate, unfortunately.
Hey, can I say something real quick? Because I gotta head out soon, guys. Sorry about that.
No, you're good, man.
So I go back. This will go back to the TNT hate. This I want everybody to peek this. This all started when David Fisdale got hired, and Kenny Smith went to have an interview, and he didn't get the job. I kid you not. Watch the day he went to go because I remember it was on TNT. He had an interview the next day. Watch from that day on, from now. Kenny Smith has inched on the Knicks ever since.
Yeah.
He does not say nothing really positive about the Knicks because he's always been butthurt. He never got the coaching job from to be in the head coach of the Knicks. And I don't.
Go ahead.
Yeah, Shaq and Chuck, I love them. They're funny dudes, but they just don't know. They just don't watch basketball.
Yeah.
Like they just don't. You can tell they don't.
No, sorry to cut you off. Shaq even said during the Philly series, I don't know who this McBride dude is, but he's playing good.
Yeah. Yep. He legit said that.
Like, how do you say that? Like, you're paid to watch basketball. I don't know who this McBride dude is. But
yeah,
he's
Shaq is terrible, man. Hey, but no, man, great video, guys. Great seeing you too, brother.
Good to meet you, Isaiah.
Good to meet you too, brother. Hey, man, let me know when you have a next clutch. Like I always tell you, man, get a next up, man, for this stuff, man.
Thank
You're the
you,
youngest
man.
dude doing it. Yeah, I can't wait for you to get to 100 views, 1,000 views. It's gonna be special.
We gonna get them there.
Oh yeah, 100%, man. Listen, Clutch is the next one up. I tell them this all the time, man. After Sam, Gam, all these guys that's doing it, man. You're the next up, dude. You're killing it. We're gonna have a great off season. I know we're gonna be doing some stuff, and I'm with you, brother.
Thank you, bro.
You're welcome, man. I'm gonna talk to you, man.
Yep, you have a good one, Isaiah.
You do it. Have a good one, guys.
Yep.
Peace.
That was Isaiah right there. One of the OGs. If you know the channel, Nothing But Knicks. He's on there a lot. Says Kareem's here to join the stream, but I don't see his face or anything, so I'm afraid to add him.
Add him, man. I mean,
all right, let's see what Kareem got to say.
Kareem.
Oh, it's just loading.
Maybe
his connection is not good. All right, you could try again, Kareem. You joined last time. You didn't show anything bad, so it's all good. Let's see what else. But yeah, I think we covered this. Oh wait, Becky Hammond. I remember her saying, "Yeah, Brunson can't be our number one because he's too small." I remember that. I think what she was trying to say is like win a championship with them. As a number, I think you can, but I feel you still need like a dominant 4 or 5.
Right,
like,
you're gonna need. I mean, either way, you're gonna need balance.
Go ahead.
Jordan days where one guy can do it. All these teams are stacked now. You need more than one player, But I wanted to ask you this because you didn't mention it in the chat.
Go ahead.
JB made all NBA but second team.
All right. Oh yeah. So he finishes top 5 in MVP voting, or top 5 in MVP, but makes the second team.
How does that make sense?
So I don't understand that. Well, first off, congratulations though, because when Randall made it, did he make third team or did he make second team? The couple times
he made it twice. He made all NBA twice.
Yeah,
I know he made one each, a third team, and I don't know which year was which, but he made second team and then he made third team.
Yeah, so that's confusing to me because I'm not saying the guys that made it above him didn't deserve it, but it's just like, how is he top 5 in MVP voting but not like all NBA? So that's kind of
It makes no sense. The math isn't mathing.
Yeah,
Clutch. It's not mathing.
He averaged 28 points, 6.7 assists, ridiculous efficiency. I guess they don't look at the context, but we were the second seed. Like, we were the second seed. This team, all respect to this team, as a Knicks fan, this team was a second seed with all this shit going on.
Bucks. There's some quality Miami quality teams in the East.
Yeah.
People love this shit on the East, and the East is weak, but no, there's some quality teams there. We're not as deep as the West, but we made second seed with no one.
By the way, can we bring up I was totally not one of these people, but remember there was a lot of the people saying let's not beat Chicago because Philly's kind of scary in the first round.
Yeah.
I'm not going. I was kind of scared of how that matchup was gonna go. I know we played them in the regular season, but Embiid was like healthy for one of the games. I don't know why I thought Lowry was gonna have like a big impact. He had he didn't impact for like one game, and then the last couple games he had like 0 points. But then I guess I didn't look at the full picture. Like, oh well, they have Tobias Harris, who just they don't anymore, but just garbage. AP says I want to see Rokos Jokubaitis. Oh yeah, that's someone who drafted in 2020. We have his rights or something like that, or he can come overseas if he wants. I know he's going to be with the summer league team this offseason, so I think this is going to be the decision if he wants to come over. Hey, we need a backup guard, so we'll see. He didn't really impress me. Right? Go ahead.
He's a point guard?
Yeah, he's a point guard. I think he's kind of a tweener. I'm not sure. I haven't really been following him because I just don't expect him to come over at this point.
It's been like 4 years now.
Yeah. This is Carl Buzzerbeater. He says I don't know who the guests are, but he's 100% right about us needing a stretch five. Yep, that was
Buzzer.
Yeah, Buzzbeater's true OG supporter of the channel. Parrish says Tibbs isn't playing draft picks in a season. We're playing to win it all. Yeah, I guess that's a good point. You could say it was kind of like a culture year that year when he was playing quickly. He says, look for a DeRozan, Alex Caruso trade. Caruso, now that's someone I would like. I think he's one of the most valuable players in the NBA that's not on the championship team. Like, he's a championship, like, role player. Like, any team would like him, but he says trade for those it says, look for a DeRozan, Alex Caruso trade for those picks plus Mitch and another number one. Would you want DeRozan on this team? Do you like that he doesn't shoot a lot of threes? Do you like that he's a pure almost pure mid-range guy? I know he took more threes, but he's more of a mid-range guy.
My issue with DeRozan are two things. He's not a good three-point shooter, and he's not a great defender.
Yeah, he's not a good defender. That's a good point.
Not a great defender.
Some people think, he's athletic, he's big, he's a good defender, but no, that's not always the case.
It's not the case. He's not a good I don't know if he's a Tibbs guy. And I mean, who's he starting?
But then you bring in Caruso to help your bench, but you're adding scoring at the same time. So I could see why the Knicks would be like, oh shit, like I don't like. Even though Tibbs is a defensive coach, the Pacers, I just don't think that was a good matchup. I know we had injuries, but I still don't think that was a good matchup versus Indiana the way they play. But we still need to score more. It's Randall, man. Like, can Randall prove that he's going to be good in the playoffs? If Randall scores, if he gives us 20 a game in the playoffs and not even like 48% shooting, but just give us like 43% shooting,
right?
Because of what he has shown us in the past of being negative, like, we won't have to talk about trading for DeRozan. I think that might be the Knicks' mindset. Like, well, you could say we lack scoring, we lack this, we lacked physicality. Well, we have Randall still on this team. I think they're not trading Randall. I think this organization loves Randall.
All right, Noah, let's stop beating around the bush.
Okay.
Right now, you are Leon Rose.
Okay.
What are you doing? This is your off season.
Okay.
What are you doing? What are you doing with the draft? Who are you re-signing? Precious, iHeart. Let me know what is your game plan for next year.
All right.
Keep it 100.
Should I talk about Brunson or no? Because we don't know if that's actually going to happen. His contract is.
You're GM. You let me know. Put it out there, bro.
Well, I have a conversation with Brunson, saying like, yeah, it could be your decision. You could wait till next year and get your contract. But if you really want this to be a championship team, you want to have flexibility, then we recommend you sign this contract. Like, yeah, you care about the money, but we believed in you from the beginning when a lot of people didn't believe in you as well. Let's keep that in mind. A lot of people said you were overpaid. So now you help us out a little bit by giving us some more flexibility while we're still rewarding you. Like, we're still giving them more money. So I would try to get Brunson to sign that contract. Gotta sign Hartenstein. I know he was disappointing. Defensively in the playoffs, I'm not gonna lie, it's disappointing. Understanding the Achilles, but maybe he'll look healthier. By the way, he developed he got better this year, even than he was with the Clippers. Like a lot of people don't even talk about that, like the development of DiVincenzo. Like Kings fans didn't really want him. Like I have a Warrior subscriber, Javier, that was saying like, oh, he was so up and down in Golden State, so he's kind of like jealous of what's happening. But I definitely try to bring back Hartenstein. Mitch is still gonna be here, but I would draft a center. I'm not sure who would be. There's this guy from Duke, Kyle Flipowski. I think he has some potential of stretching the floor. So I do like that. But you could say the same thing with Hartenstein when he was with the Clippers. He was overseas. He was taking threes in like non-pressure situations. That's always been a potential thing. So maybe he'll stretch the floor at some point. I'm not sure. He has the floater. But I would sign a backup or draft a backup center because I don't believe it's a strong class. Like I'm not overpaying for like Jonas Valanciunas to be like my backup center,
Yeah.
and I'm not sure how he is defensively, but I know he's getting older. OG, you got to pay him. We talked about this before. You can't have somebody spend the third overall pick on, and we could trash on RJ, but he was pretty damn impactful in the Miami series. I know he wasn't good in Game 6, but do we get out of the first round without like RJ the way he played, like his scoring? Like literally the first couple, or at least game 1 or game 1 and game 2, when RJ wasn't scoring, like Josh Hart was making up for it even quickly when he was struggling. But you gotta bring back OG. You don't just give up those assets quickly and RJ to let him walk. But you need to get some insurance if it's in free agency, if it's even in the draft. Alec Burks, I think we bring back Alec Burks. I don't know. I think you never know with injuries as well. You never know when the injury bug's gonna hit us.
You
And
think you'll take a veteran minimum?
yeah, it would probably be on a veteran minimum.
You think you would take it?
I think who would be attracted to Burks right now? What's he 30? What's he 30? 34 years old, 33, 34 years old, and he has been a journeyman throughout his career. So who knows? He's played for like every NBA team. It feels like, but I would try to get a true backup point. Like we got McBride on a good contract. We could talk about McBride struggled off the bench this series. Like he was good as a starter, but for some reason he was just terrible as a bench player. I think a part of it was McConnell. He couldn't keep up with McConnell, but he's not a true lead guard. Do I think he can get better? Yes, but I want more of an orchestrator, and I think Tyus Jones can be that guy. Bogdanovich, he has one more year left. So like the main question is like, do you run it back or do you want to try to change this lineup? There's still the
That's
belief.
the $1 billion question.
There's still the fans that are like Dante was really good as a starter, and it's crazy to think that Grimes is starting over him. But do we have enough upside, like still as a starting lineup, like to go to the NBA Finals, not even just the Eastern Conference Finals? Do we need more length? Do we need more athleticism? But I think that's answered with OG healthy. But is he healthy? So I would run it back with this lineup. I would still try to contact the net. I would still try to contact the Nets for Mikal Bridges. I'd still try to give that a try.
What would be your offer? Come on, we're gonna do this. If we're gonna do this, let's do this, bro. What would be your offer?
Oh my god! So we talked about the size thing, though. If we give up Randall, the size is gone.
It's gone.
So what's the rumor of like how much they want right now? How many first rounders do they want? Like 3 or 4 first. So we have 2 this year. How much do they value those picks this year, though? That's the thing.
I think they would want our picks.
And I think McBride's gone too.
Yep, they would want McBride. They're gonna want McBride.
Do you do all this for? Oh my gosh,
Yeah.
man.
Job ain't easy, bro.
OG at the 4. Does he stay healthy, like you mentioned as well? I might actually just run it back and just try to add more depth. And you just have to be smarter this time around, making sure that you have backup plans, like health-wise. That's probably what I would do. I'm not firing Tibbs. People want that shit. Like I've seen other live streams. People like want to fire Tibbs.
That's crazy. That is crazy. You know how many teams would kill to have Tibbs as a coach right now?
Yeah.
Come on.
Buzzer Beater says, by the way, I'm sorry guys, I've been missing the chat. Oh wait, so this is sad to see. I don't know if you remember this guy's username.
Knicks win the championship in 2024. Yup.
It used to be 2025, then he changed it to this season. Now it's called Knicks ran out of steam. That's just depressing to see, man. That's just sad to see. But what's going on? He says, "What's good, people? What's going on?" He said he would love to add DeAndre Hunter. He might. Wait, is he a free agent or is he restricted free agent? By the way, because so he was the 4th pick in the draft. I don't know if you've been following him this season. He used to start, but now he's a bench piece because I think what's his name, Jalen Johnson, starts over him now.
Took his spot.
And maybe it changes scenery as a bench piece because I know he could defend. Maybe I don't know if he fell off defensively. I don't know one of the main reasons he went to the bench, but I know his thing out of college. We played him in the playoffs when we played the Hawks. He's a good 3-point shooter and he's a defender, and you can never have too many of those players.
He's still young. He's still young.
Yeah, he's not really old. I think he was kind of a seasoned. No, maybe he was a freshman coming out of Virginia. But you can never have too many wings. But I'm not sure what his market is, but that's a good point. I never really seen that. I wouldn't mind that. AP says, I've had my frustrations, but the reality is he's the best coach we've had in decades. Is he perfect? No. But then when you look at that, we've had like Soft Fizdale, Jeff Hornacek, like those guys weren't actually culture changers. You could say like you could crap on Tibbs, but you can't doubt that he's brought a good culture here, and we're actually winning. Like the first year he was here, he brought us to the playoffs. Like let's just think about that. The situation that he took over. Knicks fans were done with Randall already. Like after 1 year, like when he was here, people were saying like he was lazy on defense. He wasn't a good shooter the first time, or he wasn't like. I think he was taking less shots. I know he's still not a crazy efficient shooter, but he wasn't at the level he is now. Shot making wise, he was turning the ball over like crazy. And one of the main reasons people wanted Randall gone, RJ's development. Like they're saying he was affecting that.
Yeah.
Mitch couldn't stay healthy, and we don't even know if he was gonna be like get rotational minutes because every time he was on the floor before Tibbs, he was in foul trouble, and he was just so jumpy. You're taking over a second-year player of RJ Barrett, and he made I'm not gonna say he made Randall an all-star, but he still had a part of that. Like there's probably still some motivation there. Like when Randall was on JJ Redick's podcast, he said he likes Tibbs because he pushes him. So he took like a messy situation and brought us to the playoffs. Like we had Nerlens Noel starting at center and Peyton, and Derrick Rose got hurt in Memphis, but he's in a different situation. Just it's crazy. Man, the best thing would be Donovan Mitchell and like a DeAndre Hunter.
You want Mitchell?
Do I want Mitchell? No, I'll be honest.
No.
If he was 6'7", I'd want him.
If he was 6'7", everybody would want
Well, maybe it's one of the risks you take though. Maybe I am overthinking it. It's like he's too talented. It's like you get him and you figure it out.
Yeah.
Like maybe Brunson, like we know Brunson's a good leader, but maybe he is just that special to the point that it's like, oh, he'll make it work with him.
Hey, look at it.
So do you take the risk? Do you or are you just like this dude's too talented? Mitchell's like a 30 a game guy, and he's in his prime.
Look at it this way. Did you think Luka and Kyrie would work that well? I didn't think so.
They look much better this year. It was a mess last year.
And Kyrie's 6'1", and he plays the 2.
Luka's also like 6'8".
Yeah, I mean, Luka's huge.
Yeah, and he could choose when he wants to play defense. Like Brunson
Luka's terrible on defense. Stop it.
That's why I said he could choose because of his size. when he actually cares to defend. The thing with Brunson, he can care to defend, and unfortunately, people still scorn him because he's just smaller. I would love to add Hunter. Mike Woodson was a good coach. Yeah, I don't know if he's still at Indiana or he got fired. I'm not sure.
He's in college now, right? He's doing
college. With Indiana. I'm not sure if he's still there. Like Kenny Payne, I think he's still in college. AP says Ed, he's a local, so he knows the New York environment. Everyone can't do that. What, Donovan Mitchell? I know he's a Mets fan, and I don't know if he was a Knicks fan growing up, but I know that was more of the hot topic off season. Was that last off? No, the year before that.
Yeah.
Because a lot of people were saying, "Oh, I'm only okay with Brunson if we get Mitchell with him." So, oh gosh, yeah, Kurt Rambis, and Hornacek changed the culture for the worst. Yeah, they were pretty bad. Or
Yeah.
not just those guys. Derek Fisher was really bad.
Yeah.
Derek Fisher before Rambis. Randall All-Star. Go ahead.
I forgot we had Hornacek. Jesus
Yeah, we have.
Christ.
Well, we had him during the super team here. Derrick Rose, Joakim Noah, Porzingis, Melo, Courtney Lee. We had Mendauskas, Kuzminskis off the bench.
No, I
Um,
remember him.
what was the guy that used to play for the Lakers? Sasha Vucevic.
Vucevic.
Yeah, him. Well, we had Willie Hernangomez. The problem was we had no bench. We had like Ron Baker off the bench
Yeah.
and all that shit. But AP says Randall All-Star under Tibbs, Brunson All-Star Tibbs, Josh Hart under Tibbs. There has to be something there. He gets results. You could say some people don't like his, I guess, the way he runs the team, but he gets results at the end of the day. I really thought Phil Jackson was going to make a difference. Well, I remember Phil Jackson was supposed to be the coach, and then they said there was some issues like with his back or something like that, and they said he like couldn't coach. But Phil Jackson was probably the worst thing I've seen as a Knicks fan. One of the worst things.
I think Phil Jackson's a front runner. He knew the team wasn't a winning team, and he didn't want to mess up his resume.
You think so?
That's what I think. Because what does your back have to do with coaching? You sit down most of the time anyway, bro.
Unless you're Tibbs. Unless you're Tibbs.
Yeah.
Parrish says, unfortunately, I heart McBride and picks are our biggest trade bait. Yeah, do we pay? Imagine if we pay Hartenstein. Is there a sign and trade somewhere this offseason? I don't know. Are we going to make some deal like that? But I could see McBride definitely being an attractive piece. Because he has shown, at least in the Philly series, but we even saw as a starter, like in the Pacer series when he started those couple games, that he's fearless. And we loved Quickly when he was here, but McBride showed more in the playoffs than Quickly when he was here.
The only problem, though, McBride's on such a low salary. You can't trade him for anything. Like, you're going to get you have to trade him for like a rookie or something because he's on such a team-friendly salary. So, I mean, unless you throw it in even because if I'm going to sign and trade iHeart, that's all you're getting. Because I'm signing and trading, it's going to be a one-on-one or for picks or something like that. You know?
Yeah, I think he'll be back. I think Hartenstein will be back as their starting center. I don't really have any doubt in my mind. I know the Thunder. Some people are scared of that because they need a center, and people are saying Chet's too skinny, so you put him at the 4 and start Hartenstein. Or Hartenstein maybe just comes off the bench. But I think Hartenstein's loyal here because when he was with the Clippers, he was trying to take a discount, but they said, no, we're getting John Wall. And obviously that was not a good decision. I think he's going to try to stay. I think he's going to try to stay here. This is the best position he's been in his career. I don't know why he would really mess with that. I think that would be kind of.
And best season of his career.
Yeah, best season of his career. Exactly. That's like if Dante was a free agent and he left. That'd be stupid. But he's not, so. If New York had... Go ahead.
If New York had traded for Donovan Mitchell 2 years ago, they wouldn't have had the pieces to trade for OG and Josh Hart or had enough money for iHeart or Dante.
It's true.
It's a valid point.
Who knows what our depth would look like right now?
Well, we would have had Donovan Mitchell.
But we would do you think we would be in that same position or look like that same situation as when we beat the Cavs in the first round, though? That like they lacked the depth, though. They had like Chetty Osman coming off the bench. They panicked and they moved LeVert to the starting lineup because Okoro couldn't score. So maybe we would have been in that position. Because RJ would be gone still. Like if we traded for Mitchell, Grimes would be gone probably.
Yeah, because they wanted Grimes. I think that was the stopper. He didn't want to give up Grimes.
Yeah. But I don't know if you followed the playoffs. Mitchell definitely he went off these playoffs. He carried before he got hurt. Garland was disappointing. Garland looked like trash.
Yeah. Did you hear that? Garland said if they don't trade Mitchell, he wants to be traded.
I think I did see that.
I heard that rumor. I don't know if it's true, but
I think I did see that. No, Phil Jackson was going to replace Jeff Van Gundy, but Van Gundy ended up going to the. Was that true? That Phil Jackson was going to replace Van? Because I wasn't around. I didn't see this. So, was that a real report during that time?
I never heard that Phil Jackson was going to replace Van Gundy. No, no,
Interesting.
no.
Who was our coach before? Oh yeah, it was Mike Woodson before Derek Fisher. Phil Jackson, Scott Layden, and Isaiah Thomas ruined the Knicks. Yeah, I know the Isaiah Thomas era was bad, right? That's when what we had was stuff you could talk about it more than me. But I was talking to a Knicks fan because I've only seen his highlights and I love seeing his passion on Twitter and all that. But Stephon Marbury was there when Isaiah Thomas was there, right?
Yeah, he
Yeah.
had Marbury.
So what's your thoughts on Marbury? Some Knicks fans say he's a loser. Some fans are like, it was the organization. It was a mess. He really had no chance.
I don't put it on Marbury. He loves New York.
Yeah.
I remember when he went to the Nets, he wanted to come to the Knicks.
He's from Coney Island, right?
Yeah, he's a local hero. I mean, it's him, like Sebastian Telfair. There's a handful of New York point guards that get a lot of love. And he was, I mean, say what you want. Look at his resume. The guy was a beast.
Mm-hmm.
Guy was a beast. Not only just a scorer, but he can give you 10 assists a game too.
Where was he before us? The Timberwolves, or was he with the Nets?
Phoenix. Remember,
Phoenix.
He was with Amari, a young Amari, before Nash got there. That's where he was. He was on Phoenix.
Was Sean Marion on that Suns team during that time or no?
He was?
So. Okay.
I think so. I think they played a year together. I think
okay. Parrish brings up a good name, but I don't think it's happening because I think he found a home, and I don't even think New York would want him after the series. People don't like him, but Oubre a cheap but great piece now. Him and Donovan would do it. I think Philly's bringing him back, though. Like, by the way, like, I don't wonder. And like Oubre had the beef with DiVincenzo. That shit's not happening. Do I think beef really affects it though? No, because I'm sure Durant had beef with the Thunder, but that's fucking Kevin Durant. You put that aside. But no, I think he found a home. But some of these GMs need to do a better job. Like Oubre got signed to like a 1-year contract, and obviously I don't like Oubre after that Philly series, but I still respect him as a player and a competitor. But dude is signed to like a 1-year contract, and there's so many players like worse than Kelly Oubre in the league. So maybe they looked at it as like he was scoring on the Hornets, but he averaged 20 a game the year that he only got a 1-year contract. So that's pretty crazy to me. But again, the Hornets are bad, and LaMelo's always hurt. So
yeah,
always hurt. Buzzbeater says, "Oh yeah, never talk about Carmelo Anthony with Buzzbeater. He hates Carmelo Anthony.
Really?
He's his least favorite Knick. It says, listen to this: Marbury and Melo are the most destructive players in Knicks history."
Wow.
I need to bring Buzzbeater on one time and talk about Carmelo. He just like you bring up Melo, he fucking just hates him. He just hates him.
I liked Melo. I liked him. I mean, he was.
Leave your reasons why, Buzzbeater. I'm sure I've heard them before, but we can go over them again. Knicks ran out of steam. Says you're gonna have to change that name. It's just depressing. That was true. If New York lost in the first round in 1999. Oh, yeah, this is the year where the 8th seed that beat the 1 seed. Yeah, that was true. If New York lost in the first round in 1999, Jeff Van Gundy was going to be fired and replaced by Phil Jackson. Knicks went on to the finals, and Phil took the Lakers job. Oh, wow. Maybe that was a rumor. I don't know. I don't know. I know, obviously, he played for the Knicks. Back then.
He won a championship with the Knicks.
Yeah, in like 1970 or something like that. But shit, that would have changed a lot in history. If Phil Jackson went to the Knicks instead of the fucking Lakers, that would change a lot in history.
Oh man, I don't even know what that would be like. I can't even imagine that in my head.
You think Kobe's still so great though? He still would have found a way to win like those. Because he won 2 with Shaq or 3 with Shaq? How many did he win?
3,
yeah. So maybe he still would have went on to win a couple more after. But who knows? AP says Dave Checketts was going to offer Jackson the job after he left Chicago in '98. Well, who knows if he would have accepted it.
Yeah.
What kept Jeff around is Patrick Ewing having his back. The Knicks almost didn't make the playoffs in '99. Jeff was going to be fired. Well, yeah, as a Knicks fan that saw the Knicks as an 8 seed, obviously we weren't going to beat the Spurs in the finals. That wasn't going to happen. Like Tim Duncan and all that was too much. Were you a little salty when you saw the Heat as an 8 seed, like go to the finals because you wanted to be like the only team to be like, damn, like even though we didn't win, we're the 8 seed that went to the finals. Were you a little
They
heated
took us
seeing that
off the
happen?
record book, bro. They took us out of the record book.
And of course, it's the Heat, bro. Like the fucking Heat, man. And like that was one of the teams I didn't see it happen, but that was one of the teams they had to go through, obviously, as well. So that's and they beat us, which makes it even worse. I've been following the Knicks since 1990. What year was Ewing drafted? 9 or
85.
80, 85?
I think. Pretty sure
Okay.
it was 85.
Okay.
That was the when they said Stearns rigged the lottery because he was from New York, I believe.
Yeah, they said like they bent the corner of like one of the cards
Yeah,
or
so
something.
you would know which one would be the Knicks. I don't know if that's true, but
I've seen videos on that. Yeah, I don't know if the photos are real. And I don't know how dark of a time New York sports was in. So maybe it's possible. Like it's a big market. I'm trying to think of that draft. Like who's Patrick Ewing obviously went 1. Who went 2 and 3? Like who went after him? Do you remember?
don't remember. No,
Let me see if I could look it up.
I was like 10 years old then.
Yeah. Patrick Ewing draft. Let's see if I could find it. Maybe Alonzo Mourning was. I don't know.
No, because
No.
Alonzo was still at Georgetown then.
Okay. All right, 1985 here. Wayman Tisdale was the second pick.
Wow, he was terrible. I don't.
Number 3 was Bennett Benjamin. Never heard of him.
Never amounted.
4th overall, former Knick, Xavier McDaniel.
Yeah, X-Man.
John Concock, number 5.
Concat. He was okay. He was a
Joe,
shooter.
Joe Klein went 6. Chris Mullen went 7.
Chris Mullen was a savage. He went to St. John's. He was a savage.
Yeah, I know he was nice with the Warriors. That lift Schrempf. Didn't he play for the Supersonics, I think?
Yeah, man. He was one of the first 3-point bigs in the league.
Really?
Yeah. He was like do you remember AK-47 Andre Kirilenko?
Yeah, with the Jazz. Yeah.
He was a lot like if you want a comparison of the type of game. He was like AK-47.
Charles Oakley went 9. Obviously, he drafted by the Cavs during the time. Karl Malone was in this draft. Joe Dumars was. Terry Porter.
Oh, some good players went late.
Terry Porter went 24. Joe Dumars went 18.
Wow.
AC Green went 23.
He won mad rings with the Lakers.
This guy used to play for the Bulls. Bill Wennington went 16. Let's see if Manu Bull went 31. Rest in peace, Manu Bull. Wait, here we go. We got the Melo comment. Melo was a coach killer. Carl and D'Antoni, he said he valued his. I do remember that. He said he valued his gold medals more than an NBA chip. He went behind the coach's back and ended Linsanity after he agreed to play with the guy. So I'm not sure if that part was true, the Linsanity thing, because I was like 8, 9 years old when that happened, honestly. So I wasn't really following the media, but I do remember the gold medal thing, and I do remember when Chauncey Billups came out and said that he would drop 30, they would lose, his head would be up. But if he dropped 20 and they won, his head would be down. So some people think he valued the points over winning. But I want to hear your thoughts on Melo. I never had a huge issue with Melo. I'm more biased because he's like the first good Knick that I saw. I didn't see a lot of like success after that. obviously it was Porzingis, but there was like a couple year span that I'm like after Melo left, it was like, who do I? Well, no, Porzingis and Melo were there on the same team, but we ended up trading Melo. But I remember when Melo got hurt the year before we drafted Porzingis, I was like looking at freaking like Langston Galloway and shit. So, so what was?
I forgot that name. You bring up names that just make me go, "Oh my god."
But I don't know. I kind of like Langston Galloway. I don't know what he's doing now, but so yeah. What were your thoughts on Melo as a Knick? Because you could look at the full picture, like Ewing and all that, and see like the differences of leadership and the situation. Because I really believe in situation as much as the player. That's why I kind of just don't like the Brunson and Melo comparisons right now. I think they're kind of just disrespectful in a way. Not to
Totally.
Brunson or Melo, but I think to Melo, and it was just a totally different situation. And I do believe the East is stronger. But go ahead.
Okay. I will. You know what? Carmelo is KD without the defense. There he was. He could score from anywhere on the court. But just like KD got mad in Golden State because he wanted more ISO ball, he didn't like the motion offense. Melo was the same way. That's why he hated Jeremy Lin. Because Jeremy Lin took the ball out of his hands because Jeremy Lin shined when he got hurt.
Some people say Melo got jealous because the spotlight. Like Melo really loved the spotlight.
Yeah, he just like KD. Why did KD leave Golden State? Because he wanted his own team, and that's exactly what Melo did. You know, he came. He had no interest in winning. He wanted to shine in New York. Because I mean.
Some people do bring up, I was watching a podcast, because a lot of people don't remember this. It wasn't supposed to be D Wade, LeBron, and Bosh. I believe it was supposed to be Melo or someone else. I think even Joakim No, actually, I think they were like, Joakim Noah was even trying to recruit them to the Bulls at one point. Like, Joakim Noah was a competitor against them, but he was like, I still want these motherfuckers, like, on my team.
Mm-hmm.
But do you think Melo would have ended up as a Knick because we traded, obviously, for him? Well, we traded Gallinari, we traded a pick. I forgot what else we traded. I know
everything. It was the whole team for Melo. It was the worst trade in Knicks history. Not Tyson. Wilson Chandler, Danilo Gallinari.
Was this the pick? Was this the pick that resulted in Jamal Murray?
I believe so.
Well, that's just like
one of them. Yeah,
that's like impossible to predict, though. I can't really hate on the Knicks for that.
I'll give you I'll give you a perfect story to describe Carmelo Anthony. During this season, when he got traded to the Knicks, right? I don't remember who the GM was at the time. He was like, "Why are we going to trade for him when we can just sign?" Because he was going to be a free agent at the end of the year.
Yeah.
So Melo, after a game, he's like, "Oh, I guess the Knicks don't want me because they don't want to trade for me." And that's when that's when James, I don't know what the fuck I'm doing, Dolan, said, "Give them whatever they want."
He panicked. Yeah, he panicked.
He panicked because he assumed that meant Melo was saying, if I'm a free agent, I'm going to go to the highest bidder and not to you guys. Mm-hmm. And he panicked. And because that's my biggest question. If we manage to get him in free agency to pair him along with Danilo, and we would have had a team there. You know what I mean? But his ego, I will never. It was after a game, and they were like, "Well, you know, the Knicks are saying they want to wait till free agency, and they'll give you the bag." He was like, "Well, if you really want me, come and get me."
For you that followed it closely, because I didn't see it during the time, but he did go to the Western Conference Finals with Denver. Why do you want to leave, though?
Because it's Denver.
It's not a big market. Yeah, I could see that.
Not a big market.
I could see that. Let's see what other comments. I want to see Cade Cunningham. Can he be got? Detroit needs a change and 4 picks. Well, what is this?
Where are we going to pay him?
Did they extend him already? Will they extend him?
Got him. What? Because he's a point. I mean, we're going to put him at the 2?
And did they pay him yet? Or this the offseason he has to get paid? So
when was he drafted? I think he's still on his rookie.
He was the first pick in 2020. 2021. So maybe it's. I don't know.
Maybe he just got an extension.
I could check.
I just don't know where we would play him. Like, what position you gonna put him at? Parrish, throw that in the chat, man. Where do we put him at? And you're gonna have to give up a lot to get him. So that's goodbye Dante and a few other players.
He's a restricted free agent 2025, 2026. His club option was picked up. He's gonna get paid $13 million next season. So he's gonna get a lot of Pistons are gonna pay. They have no choice. Like, who are they gonna pay?
What can they do?
Yeah, because they have Ivy they drafted that's not working out. Monty Williams doesn't like him. They gave Monty Williams like $80 million. He's the highest paid.
Crazy.
I know, but I don't want to sound like a dick because I know the reasoning. I know like his wife has cancer or something, so they gave him more money. So I respect that.
Wow.
Yeah.
Oh,
At first when I saw it, and then I found out the reason, I'm like, well, I'm a dick. So, but yeah, prayers to his wife and all that. But I don't know. Monty Williams. I remember he was with the Hornets, or I forgot New Orleans one time, and he wasn't good there. I know he was good with the Suns, but Buzzer Beater always brings up, well, Chris Paul changes a lot, especially that year. But Cade would obviously, because you're gonna have to pay him like a lot of money if you trade for him. I don't think it's happening. I'm not even actually gonna talk about that.
Yeah.
Buzzer Beater says Cole. I guess is he replying to someone in the chat who's Cole? He says Cole also threatened to go. Oh, talking about Melo. He also threatened to go to Miami and LA. So what year was that? 2011, 2010, 11, around then.
Around there. Yeah, it was around there.
So, and Kobe's last championship came in what, 09 or 10? I know he beat Boston. I'm pretty sure. But yeah, there was tons of rumors. There was the Chicago rumors I remember with Melo. Maybe that was like when he was a Knick though. There were so many rumors of Melo. Like I thought he was gonna be traded before he got traded to OKC, and that was such a weird trade. Well, we got Enes Kanter and like a second rounder, I think, which resulted in Mitch actually, if I remember correctly. What would have changed the Knicks' history if they would have offered Pat Riley the position he wanted, which is coach and GM dual role? So that's what he wanted to do. Pat Riley wanted to be coach and GM, I guess. He grabbed the Indiana card, so I don't think it could have Knicks. He was looking for nothing is ever. Not sure what he's talking about.
I think he was talking about the Ewing. Remember we were talking about how the Ewing draft was.
Oh, the draft. He grabbed the Indiana card, so I don't think he could have Knicks. Yeah, I don't know. We'll never know. He'll only know, and rest in peace to David Stern. He'll only know, which is crazy. But here's Buzzer Beater back with Melo. Yeah, this went from the offseason to fucking talking about like Melo and Phil Jackson. We'll probably go live for like 10 more minutes and then I'll head out. Appreciate you guys tuning in. Appreciate Carl joining me. Yup. Shout out to Isaiah that tuned in earlier. Buzzer Beater says Melo was a. Oh wait, I've read that already. Unless he typed that again, and I was like, damn, you must really not like Melo. but we know that. What's going on, Cliff? Appreciate you being here, man. Cliff, bring up anything in the off season. You're probably just like, what's going on when you came in here? We're talking about Melo. People talking about fucking Gallinari in the chat, Raymond Felton, and all that. So someone said at Buzzer Beater, I see you're a hothead, so I'm gonna fall back out. Yo, don't mess with Buzzer Beater. He's definitely gonna go after you. James,
Buzzer Beater knows ball. He knows ball. I'll give him that. He knows his shit.
He's definitely a history guy. I want to say, I think he even saw Bernard King. I think so. Maybe. Oh yeah, here's the Melo. More Melo comments. I love Melo. I hate the Knicks didn't put another superstar with them. Ewing suffered the same fate. I'll always hate how Phil pushed him out of the Knicks. Yeah, it was a terrible situation. Phil Jackson was a mess. Carl, I have a question for you.
Sure.
Do you trust this organization? Because you could say we've already put a solid team around it, but I still feel we need more. Or maybe we run it back and it's a different situation. Do you think Brunson's going to be wasted or not be in the best position? Well, it's hard to say. Like, Ewing suffered the same fate, not having the other superstar because he still went to the finals.
Yeah.
So, do you think Brunson's gonna have enough around? Do you trust his organization to put enough around Brunson? And then we'll be at some point with Brunson. It's gonna have to be in
I
the next few years that it's like, wow, we're a contender. Like we can win a championship.
I mean, well, let's look at the resume, bro. Right? They brought in Dante, right? They
Yeah.
brought in Hart. They brought in OG. I mean, Hartenstein. I think Leon, and they're not making bad moves. I can't say in the Rose era that, wow, that was a bad signing, or whoa, that was a bad trade.
Yeah.
So far, I mean, everyone has their, slip ups. Things could have been a little tighter, a little better.
Well,
But
I'll give you a slip up. Could you guess it in 5 seconds? 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Evan Fournier. Oh, this is good.
Jesus Christ. No, yeah. And oh my God. Yeah. And Kemba. Wasn't that together?
Well, we kind of knew though, like Kemba, we were always asking ourselves, are we even gonna get 60%? How much? Like we knew that was kind of low risk, high reward. He didn't get money. Fournier, I thought that was disappointing because he's been a proven player in the league.
Yeah.
And he went from starting, hey, I appreciate opening night beating the Celtics. He knew how to do it. He knew how to beat the fucking Celtics. But besides that, that dude was beyond a cone on defense, like the worst defender I've ever seen.
Yeah, no, that's a good point. That's a good point. That was bad.
But I understood the moves he made, even though like bringing back Noel didn't work out, like Burks, because we ended up playing Burks at point guard. But I understood it because Leon Rose is like, I'm gonna look at previous Knicks rosters. Has there ever been stability? So it's like I'm gonna bring back guys that helped us and show to the league that we respect our players. So I think that's one of the main reasons he brought back like Rose, Burks, Taj, and all that year. But go ahead. You said Leon really hasn't done anything bad, and we're talking about Brunson in a good situation.
I think they realize with the contracts that they set up, they can really do something now. Because these contracts were done before the whole apron thing with the second tier and all that. So they were like, people forget Brunson's on a descending contract, so he's getting less money every year, which is, I mean, we got McBride for nickels and dimes. Even Jericho Sims is getting like $10 and a pack of Bubblicious. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
Let's be honest. So they're making the contracts right. And Tibbs, bringing him in, I think he was the perfect coach to develop a team, because if you can't bag stars, you need to be a good defensive team.
Mm-hmm.
Like, if you're not going to run, shoot the shit out of the ball, like be Golden State and just drop 120, 130 every night, you better be able to lock down the other team.
Mm-hmm.
And to stick with Tibbs and go, yeah, we're gonna bring him in. I like that. I think it was I think now that
so you're all for extending Tibbs because there's obviously been that rumor in the news that he's gonna get extended this offseason. So you're all for that.
If you don't put him in management, give him an office position.
So who would you? I don't think he's gonna be replaced. I think he's gonna be your head coach. I think he's still gonna be your head coach in the next 2-3 years. Who would you replace him with though? Because there's always been the reports like Johnny Bryant. I don't see it ever being Rick Brunson because that would just be crazy. I don't know why. I think that would start something because Jalen Brunson's obviously his son. I don't think that would be kind of messed up in my opinion.
But wait, but didn't Doc Rivers coach his son on the Clippers?
But it was a sort good. I don't know.
It was awkward. It was fucking awkward.
Yeah, but also his son's not a fucking superstar. Like Brunson's, Austin Rivers was a Knick during that, obviously that season, virus season, and he's talked some shit on the Knicks too. Like, or I'm not gonna say he's talking shit, but I don't know. They just get so much hate. Like there's always a but with the team. It's like the Knicks are doing this, they have this, but like you never hear the but with like every other team. Like we could talk about like we knew the Thunder weren't gonna win the championship this year, but we didn't hear any buts. Like people were just talking about them like there was some perfect team. Like when they don't have a backup center, but us, like there's one hole. It's brought up. So
You know why? I'll tell you
because we're
why.
the Knicks.
Because we're the Knicks. We get, even when we're not good, we get ratings, we get attention. Like you said, Knicks for clicks. If you put
Mhm.
anything on the Knicks, you're gonna get clicks.
Yeah,
So I almost think it's a jealousy thing. It's a pettiness thing, you know.
yeah.
And now that we're actually relevant, because like I said to you in the beginning of the when we first started the when you
But
first started
by the
the
way, while you're talking, I'm gonna check the update of the Celtics Pacers game. But go ahead, go ahead.
oh, I'll tell you right now because I'm actually watching it.
Looks like the Celtics are
Up
winning.
30, Boston's up 10, 37-27, 8.5 to go in the second.
The Pacers had their chance last game. They had their
Look,
they blew last game. Game one is so important. If you can get that game on the road. Were they up 2-0 against Miami and lost to the Celtics?
yep.
So you never fucking know. Even though I think Miami's a totally different built team and they have I hate that I have respect for Eric Spoelstra because he has all respect to Jimmy, all respect to that roster. It's probably the most like one of the most mid like Bam Adebayo is good, like Hawkes was a solid rookie. You know, Hero was cool story. I think they should have traded. I know Lillard's kind of like washed now, but a couple years ago when he wasn't washed, they probably should have traded Hero for Damian Lillard. I thought that was a mistake.
Yeah.
I think they were way too high on Hero, and now I think they're starting to see like what he is. Like he's solid scorer, but he plays no defense. He's not that athletic. They should have just made that move. I thought that was a mistake. Um,
To be honest, I think Hero's a bench player, a good six man.
mhm.
You know, come off the bench, shoot the three, get hot. You know, but I wouldn't trust him in my starting lineup. No way.
Yeah. Yo, what's going on, Jay?
Comment
Appreciate being here,
about
man.
There
What's
was a
going on,
comment
Jay?
about
What's up?
I saw a comment before about
Oh,
KD.
yeah, Cliff brought up he wants KD. So what are your thoughts on that? So is there he's not coming to the Knicks. He came out said on a podcast lately, or not lately, maybe a month ago. He was on with his agent, and apparently his agent was telling him to go to the Knicks during the
Really?
time. But he said to his agent, well, Knicks weren't cool during that time. Like they were a cool brand, but were they really an attractive destination? You could look at it either side, like, okay, we were a mess. David Fizdale, was he really attractive? Look at the pieces. Were we really attractive? Like the Nets, they kind of established something when they had Russell, LeVert, like Kenny Atkinson brought a decent team to the playoffs. Well, we didn't really show any type of identity. But then at the same time, it's like, well, do you want to be the guy that helps a team that's already good, or you want to build something up? That's why I feel like a lot of Knicks fans respect Randall. Randall came over. I'm not saying Randall's a level of Durant, but Randall came over saying like I want to build something. Durant went to the Nets over the Knicks. Like he went to the Suns, not a big market. Like the Thunder can't control. He was drafted to Supersonics. It became the Thunder. The Warriors, we know that was just they were joining a super team. I just don't ever see that happening. I think Durant, he responds to people on social media like crazy. Like he has burner accounts. I just don't ever see him come to the Knicks. I don't think he could deal with the actual pressure here. Like if he was able to deal with that, I don't give a like if Durant wasn't a softie and he was able to deal with like the big lights like this, of course, I don't care how old he is. Like it's fucking Kevin Durant, obviously at the same time. What do you have left over if you do trade for Durant? But we're not getting Durant. Like I'm not going to seriously talk about that because I don't think it's happening. But what are your thoughts on Durant?
I got one word for you: toxic.
Mm-hmm.
Every team he's been on, there's been drama. Whether it's with other players, co-play, you know, his teammates. How many coaches has he gotten fired? It's crazy. Like he's toxic. Like he's a child. He's very immature. That's the term.
And I think it shows his softness. He was a part of Steve Nash being hired. I think he was like, if you didn't know, Steve Nash used to be like his shooting coach. Obviously, we know Steve Nash, two-time MVP, one of the best point guards. But he was he was a shooting coach in Golden State. I don't know if you knew that. I don't know if Durant was like, I'm a softie, so I'm just gonna get someone like I know this dude isn't gonna yell at me. I know he's not gonna hold me accountable to a certain level. He's my friend, so let's hire him. So there's just that big softy part. I think there's like I can't see him playing for Tibbs. Like
No
someone
way.
made
No way. How would that work?
someone made the funniest joke. It's like, would you even take LeBron on a 1-year contract? And they were just like, could you imagine? I think the Tibbs minutes thing is blown out of proportion because someone brought up what last year when we were healthy, in the playoffs. I know Mitch got hurt and Randall wasn't fully healthy, but quickly was getting minutes. But people were talking about like Tibbs just regularly plays like the starters like 40 minutes a game in the regular season. Brunson averaged like 35 minutes per game in the regular season. Maxey for Philly was averaging 37 minutes per game. Like Nick Nurse plays his guys a lot of minutes, but can you see LeBron playing for Tibbs? No. I can't see that shit ever happening.
Even if we would have drafted,
I think there's a part of it though that will never get like even a Mitchell or like superstar talent because of Tibbs that no one wants to play for Tibbs. Do you believe that?
Yes. Because you're gonna, one, be held accountable, and two, like I heard he has like 2-3 hour film sessions like every damn day.
Yeah.
Like he's an old school coach. You know, it's funny and you mentioned that because I think that's why Jeff Van Gundy never got another coaching job, because he was in that same mind state of grind it out, practice, work, hold guys accountable. And a lot of players are divas now. Let's be honest.
I think the Knicks were so desperate for any type of, like when we hired Tibbs, we were just so desperate for any type of success, any type of like guys being held accountable because we had Fizdale, because we had Hornacek. So they're like, just get this team to be competent. Like I feel like that was our mindset at the beginning. I wonder what Leon Rose is thinking, like now. Like, is his coaching sustainable? But I think they're really gonna look at the injuries and they're gonna be like, we're gonna run it back because I believe they're gonna be like the ceiling's still higher. I just wish OG was a guy that could stay healthy, or I'd probably be more confident with this team next year because we beat the Pacers with like OG hurt this series, but we have Randall and everyone else. Let's say it's just OG hurt. You think we'd be in Indiana?
Yes.
Yeah. So,
no rain. Like I think that's easy peasy. Like OG was able to keep Siakam in check when he was healthy. When OG was on the floor, he was able to lock down Pascal. I honestly do. I look. No,
I saw a stat. It was like through the first couple games because OG obviously got hurt game 2 because he was like going off, scoring like crazy, and then hurt his hamstring. The first couple games, Siakam averaged like 16 points per game on 44% shooting, but then you see the rest of the series, like 23 a game on like 54% shooting.
Yeah,
it was
man.
Crazy efficiency. You just felt like every mid-range shot was going in. Like Precious had no answer at all. I'll ask you this. Who's the most impressive? Well, you could say Brunson. I'll still take your answer. Who was the most impressive player this series for the Knicks, and who was the most like disappointing? Like who had the most disappointing series?
I mean, we're excluding Brunson because we all know he's the GOAT.
Yeah.
So most impressive was Dante. Because what Dante brought to us, and not only his progression, if you look at what he was in Milwaukee and in Golden State and what he became here, because no one talks about his defense. He's a damn good defender. He's great in the passing lanes. He'll get you 2 steals in the game. No worries.
Yeah.
So he was by far my, he impressed me. He literally impressed me because he would have bad games, but shoot, that's how it is with shooters.
Like the Philly series, oh my gosh, we were waiting for him to have one good game, and then he popped off when it mattered. When it mattered. Like, that's what we've noticed. So I don't know if you followed him at college. So I live in South Jersey. So on the podcast, they're talking about, because it was perfect that we're playing Philly in the first round because Hart with the Villanova, Brunson, just all those guys, DiVincenzo. Even when we had Riot Archidiakono, who wasn't playing, like he went to Villanova. yeah, Philly fans were celebrating with Villanova won the national championship, but as soon as we're playing us, they switched up like they weren't. They weren't celebrating. But I remember one of those. So DiFincenzo off the bench in 2018. This helped his draft stock. He had 32 points off the bench in the championship game versus Michigan.
that
Um,
that game was crazy.
then you see like versus Philly game 6 elimination game. I want to say at 20 plus. He obviously hit clutch free throws at the end. In game 3 versus Indiana goes off. If Brunson played better, we probably would have won that game, or if we rebounded. And then you look at the game 7 this time, he had like 31 points. No one knows this, or not a lot of people know this because we lost the game. He literally, I think he tied a Knicks record, like 7 made threes in a playoff game, but no one cares because we lost, obviously.
Exactly.
So if we won, oh my gosh, it would have been
Accolades would have
insane.
been off the chain, man.
But he steps up in the games that matter. See, he just lets it fly when it matters. He's like, they need as much offense as me, and he's just not shy. He's not a shy player. But yeah, I was really impressed with Dante. But yeah, keep going.
And it's Dante / Josh Hart. I mean, but I think that's a given. Josh Hart, I don't even understand him. He doesn't make sense. He literally breaks logic because he's like 6'4".
Yeah.
He gives you.
He is 6. Yeah,
He's like a
6'4".
walking triple double, dude, with rebounds.
Yeah.
Like I don't get it. And then he can give you 20 in a game.
Yeah. Someone said he's like the LeBron of role players.
Yes,
It's
that
like
is well said.
if it's your first time watching basketball and you turn on the Knicks in the playoffs, you're probably like, who the fuck is this Josh Hart dude? He looks like LeBron. He's taking the ball coast to coast and he's finishing it. He doesn't take a playoff. Even in the game that I don't know if you saw the report because of what was going on with his abdominal. Apparently, like when he would breathe, he would cough. Like he was not okay. Like, and he still gave us like 8 rebounds, which is nuts. He's just pure heart. Like we could talk about last year in the playoffs. I feel like he was a better shooter this time around in the playoffs than last year. So yeah, you respected Josh Hart last year, but and I don't like telling people how to fan, but if you're a Knicks fan and you don't respect Josh Hart after this year, I don't know what the fuck to say to you, man.
Like you're not watching the games.
I love Brunson, but I think I have more respect for Josh Hart after this playoff run.
Oh, are you kidding
me?
Yeah.
Like his heart is just unbelievable. And he's aware. He even came out and said, because he always defends Tibbs no matter what. Someone was asking him about minutes, and he was saying how people work 11-hour shifts. Like those people are actually tired. Like, and if you're a New Yorker or you're a Knicks fan, you like to hear that because this is probably the most aware Knicks team. Even though we lost after every win in the playoffs, Brunson would say, job's not finished. Hartenstein would say, we still have work to do. We lost. But this is probably the most like aware Knicks team and probably the most humble, even though Josh Hart said that shit to Reggie Miller.
Yeah.
That you could say took away, or I'm not gonna say took away our identity. There's one thing I didn't like what this Knicks team did though, because I feel this Knicks team's usually business. Just take care of what's out there on the court. I didn't like what they did in Game 6. I don't know if you noticed. So they came in all black, dressing for a funeral, and they dressed for their own funeral.
Exactly.
That's fucking embarrassing. That's embarrassing. And you get blown out like I don't care how many injuries you get blown out back-to-back games. So that hurts. That hurts, man.
You can't let it happen.
It's crazy. We didn't even talk about how the Pacers broke like a playoff record. Like they shot 68%, and for the game they shot like 77% and a half. There was times I thought McBride really struggled with Halliburton when he came off the bench and had to defend him. But there was some shots they were hitting were ridiculous. Like Halliburton had this pull-up mid-range shot. I'm like, no fucking way. Shit goes in.
No way that's going in.
I don't like. I understand there's a thing called a gather step, but sometimes I feel like, bro, when Halliburton, dude, it's insane. Oh wait, we got Andrew in the chat. Andrew's a loyal one. He says, no, if we run it back with the same team fully healthy, do we compete for a championship? I think we're gonna run it back. It says this team healthy. Do we compete for a championship? Yes. As long as Jalen Brunson's here, that's gonna be my mindset. Because as long as Jalen Brunson's here, we're gonna be trying to compete for a championship. And you could say Randall because they look at Randall as I feel they know Brunson's the number one, but they still look at Randall kind of as the number one at the same time because they look at him as a culture guy.
1A, 1B.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. So what's happening? Jeremy Lin got brought up. I think the Melo shit. Um, Tibbs, because of his style, must pick up 9 guys he'll play. You can't have two-way. Yeah, injuries was definitely a big part of that, but we can't see fucking just like Charlie Brown. Who fucking else? Jacob Top. We can't.
Daquan, Dre Freeze.
Yeah, Jacob Toppin. We can't see like those 4 guys just sitting on the bench. Hopefully, we're not hit. If we're hit with those injuries again, so I don't like saying like Tibbs is the reason for injuries because you look at the Boyan. Like, let's go through these together. So you start with Mitchell Robinson. He's already injury prone. You could say he was Embiid. Randall, what were we up 10 with a couple minutes left? I don't remember what it was, but Randall's out there. Do you think Randall should have been out there? I know he ended up hurting his shoulder.
I mean, it wasn't a stress play. It was he fell trying to get through, and then he fell on his arm. He tried to balance.
Yeah.
And he dislocated his shoulder. I mean,
the only argument you can make is, do you think he should have been in the game? Had nothing to do with minutes. OG, literally during warm-ups, you hurt his elbow.
Yeah, that doesn't count. I might blame him for Josh Hart and the abdominal strain because Josh Hart plays so many.
What about OG's hamstring?
No, but because hammies are hammies. Like, you can pull a hammy walking up the steps, dude. You know, like, I've pulled hammies, and I'm not an athlete, but I've pulled hammies, man. Like, so, no, I don't blame him for that. I don't. And I think also, people forget, these players are empowered more than the coaches.
It's definitely a player league, yo.
If the coaches were being out of pocket, they would go and say, well, I'm playing 42 minutes a game. What the fuck you think is going to happen? You know what I mean? I think someone would come out and say that. But because even Josh Hart's like, look, how many minutes you need me to play, I will play. And he doesn't mind coming off the bench. I think he would be happy if we were to get a 3 and he could just play off the bench and get rest. You know, like, but he's like, whatever you need me to do, I'll do. I mean, for the love of God, we had a 6'4" guy playing power forward.
Dude, we had a lineup at one point because we started McBride a couple games. Let's go through this together. So Brunson 6'2", say he's 6', 6'1". DiVincenzo 6'4". Well, we had McBride in the lineup. He's 6'1".
6'1", if that.
Hart's 6'4", and we have Hartenstein 7 foot. We only had one guy on the court besides Hartenstein that was above like 6'5".
6'5". That is crazy.
But we still won it, and we did blow out the Pacers one game with that lineup. Do you think we should have kept starting like McBride that game? Do you think we should have even brought back OG, or you were just like, do you think the Knicks were just like, it's game 7, just fucking everyone go out there and play? Do you think we should?
You had to put him out there.
Man, it was exciting for like 30 seconds when he hit like the first couple shots, but then you saw him on defense, the way he was moving. I'm like, yeah, we're done.
Yeah,
dude. When I saw the way he was moving on, he just couldn't move. Like, he couldn't close out or do anything. Like, he probably would have been. Go ahead.
Here's my question for you. OG's a hot commodity now, but like you said, 50 games a season.
Mm-hmm.
Are you gonna open your piggy bank for him?
Boy, so we had no choice. we have no choice. Dude, I wonder if because we know he's not an electrifying scorer, but it's just like, but we know he can score. Like when Brunson went down, OG was like really aggressive, but then OG went down, obviously. But I think they're just gonna look at just how well oiled of a machine this team is. Like, when he's out there, like defensively, like he's just communicating. Or the closeouts are so much better. I was watching this one guy, I forgot who it was, because his arms are so long. Like, he could have his foot on the block, and literally it could be like anyone in the corner. He just has to extend out his arm and just take one step, and he contests the shot. So, like, Brunson and Hart have talked about, like, on the podcast, that he does some things that are like uncoachable because his tools are that insane.
Yeah.
Like I feel people don't acknowledge because he hasn't been like consistently healthy, like in the playoffs. He's great at moving off the ball, so he gives us those easier buckets. Like with Randall here, he gave us like because you have Randall they have to focus on and Brunson. Like OG gave us there's so many he at least gave us like 3 easy dunks a game. Like it felt like. We know we can knock down the corner threes. It just sucks that this dude can't stay healthy.
No.
I I don't think Leon Rose looks at Tibbs. Obviously, he doesn't look at Tibbs as someone that injures players or runs them into the ground. Or because if he did, he would look at OG and be like, well, this guy hasn't stayed healthy. Like, is he going to be able to handle Tibbs' minutes? So clearly he's a believer in Tibbs. You just have to bring him back because then if not, who are you replacing him with?
And what you gave up for him too, quickly.
Or OG walks and you start his hard start at the 3 and you get someone off the bench. I don't know. I've brought this up before that Hart still hasn't played his real role here. Like because someone's gotten hurt. Like the first year here, so he comes in and I don't want to say it was the most fluke shit. But when he was here for the last 30 games, whatever it was through the trade last year, dude shot 51% from 3. And he was just like lighting it up. And some people thought that was gonna happen in the playoffs. So he has like this amazing role off the bench. We know the defense, the passing, just we know we could do like almost everything out there on the floor. So it's just like, oh, this is like perfect what we need off the bench. We need a physical guy. Randall gets hurt. Then we're asking him to score the basketball. Like he's not a natural scorer. He's someone that can score, but he's usually someone that's supposed to give you like what 9, 8, and 5, like 9 points, 8 rebounds, like 5 assists off the bench. But no, you're asking him give us 15 plus points per game. Like we're asking him to do that, and he did that in game 1, game 2.
And play position.
Play all these minutes, be exhausted, getting all these rebounds, but still have energy to score. Like that's one of the things that impressed me about McBride in that Philly series. Oh, we're asking you to defend but score, and he was doing it. But then this time around, like another injury again. So I feel like Hart's never gotten to play like his actual role off the bench. That it's like, oh, I don't like. We might actually see him in a role next year that he's not going to play 40 plus minutes a game because hopefully we're healthy. We don't want to see him in that position again.
Exactly.
But I appreciate Hart. Hart's one of my favorite players. I tweeted on Twitter. He might be the first Knicks jersey I get of like someone that's a non-superstar.
Right.
Like because he's aware of like the market he plays in because he plays so hard. And you just respect players. You just respect players like that. Like if so, I don't know if you have jerseys, Carl. But if it wasn't like Randall or Brunson, whose jersey would you get on this team?
Josh Hart.
Josh Hart. Would you get DiVincenzo? Would he be up there? You would have to get like all the Villanova guys.
I would have the. I already have. I'm one in. I got Brunson.
Yeah, I have Brunson. Brunson's the only current Knick I have around. I don't get jerseys a lot. Like
I have a lot of old school. I have Sprewell. He was one of my favorite Knicks.
That's a cool jersey.
I got a Ewing one. I got a Marbury one. And I have a Melo. And I have Brunson. So I have 5. That's my starting 5.
I have a Melo jersey somewhere in my closet. Unfortunately, I have a Porzingis jersey in my closet. I just don't burn jerseys because it was a gift, so I just don't burn it. My first jersey I technically got, I wasn't able to wear it. I actually do have it. I can show it. When I was 8 years old, for my birthday, because my aunt used to work at this bar called The Palm. Charles Barkley would go in there. Allen Iverson, Charles Oakley. So I was able to get Charles Oakley signed jersey for my birthday. So that was pretty cool.
Do you have a Charles Oakley signed?
I could show. It says 2 Noah on it. I can show you.
Fuck you! I hate you now. No fucking way.
Oh, it's blurry. It's because let me turn off the blur thing. Oh, the virtual.
No way. There you go.
I don't know if you can see. It says it here though.
Yeah.
It just says 2 Noah. I think from Charles Oakley. Got it when I was like 8 or 9. My aunt.
All right. Mad respect for making sure you framed that.
Yeah, I had to frame it. But But I thought that was pretty cool because usually people born in like 2004 that are like Knicks fans don't really know much about that. And obviously the darkest years. How old was I when Charles Oakley got banned?
It wasn't that long ago. What was it, like 5, 6 years ago?
Yeah, 5, 6 years ago. Did we have Porzingis during the time? I think we did. Maybe.
I think we did.
I think we did. What was your reaction when that happened?
Utter disgust. Charles Oakley he's the oak tree. I mean,
Yeah.
I don't care what the situation. If you don't lift that ban by now, what are you doing? Like, it should have been okay. Leave the arena or whatever.
Dude, I was so sad. So sorry to cut you off, but
No,
so
you're good.
there was a picture during the Pacers series as Freewell, Larry Johnson, Walt Frazier. They're all at the game, and you know who's missing? Charles Oakley's missing.
Charles Oakley.
You have Kyle O'Quinn in the fucking thing, bro. Kyle O'Quinn was fucking there, bro. Oh my gosh. But someone asked, by the way, the Celtics are up 6 at halftime. It looks like they have no answer for Jaylen Brown. He's 24, but they have no answer for Siakam. He's 16. But someone asked me, how many games did Brunson, Randall, and OG play together in January? I'll look that up. But go ahead. What were you saying about Charles Oakley?
No, I think the answer to that is about 14 to 16 games.
Okay.
In January. I check it to, and yeah, Charles Oakley. You know what? It's funny. Charles Oakley's our Josh Hart now.
Okay.
Oakley, rebound, defend. I mean, he couldn't shoot, but even later in his career, he developed a 3-point shot. Especially, I think he went from the Knicks to, I want to say, Toronto, and he started shooting threes. And Oakley was the enforcer of the team. I mean, even though he
did the dirty work.
He did the dirty work, diving on the floor, getting in guys' faces. Like, see, I wish you would have loved those 90s Knicks, bro.
Well, my dad's favorite Knicks was John Starks and Oakley. Well, obviously he loved Ewing, but like outside of Ewing, I'm sure everyone loved Ewing. But my dad also told me though that even though he didn't win a championship, he always said Ewing was probably one of the most disrespected, like New York sports. Like, what do you think he meant by that? Was he disrespected by the organization? I know the organization did him dirty at the end. Like, I remember that whole thing or something. But you tell me, because you actually experienced it. Because, like, wasn't there a Ewing theory when he was kind of like washed during the time? But they were saying like, oh, the Knicks were better without him during some run. So you tell me about
the full
a time
story.
like I didn't really see.
Let me give you the full story. All right, it was early 90s. Patrick Ewing was up for extension, a new contract.
Okay.
He wanted a max deal. Management said, look, take a little less money and we can bring players in around you. He said, no.
Okay.
I want max money. I want the most any player can get on this deal. And that's why it took him till the end of his career before he had Canby and Spreewell.
The actual help.
Houston. So he sabotaged his own career.
And he got help when it was at the end, when his knees obviously were always an issue, but like when his knees were really, really fucking cooked. So
and he was mad when Canby would get minutes over him. Like, look at the stat. Marcus Canby was awesome here, dude. 6.
Yeah, I didn't get to watch Canby. My dad had a Canby jersey, so I don't know. Awesome. Like, was he a gritty defender? Was he a scorer? What was his thing? Rebound?
He was a gritty defender. And when I mean gritty, like 4 blocks a game, 12 rebounds, and like 16 points. And he was very athletic and very energetic. Like, I mean, you see him now.
Who drafted him? Who drafted the Bulls? Who drafted him?
That I don't remember.
Okay.
Oh, he was in. I think he was in Canada or up north.
Okay.
I think he was in Canada. I want to say Toronto, or it might have been when the Grizzlies. Because remember, they were in Canada before
Vancouver.
they moved.
Yeah, Vancouver. Yeah.
He might have been on Vancouver.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
someone said Raptors. Someone said Raptors. Yeah,
there we go. There we go.
or
Yeah,
Vancouver Grizzlies. Yeah, yeah, that
yeah.
sounds right. Someone said
He was
Ewing
in
had the
Canada.
shortest. Someone said Ewing had the shortest prime of any Hall of Famer ever, 85, 89.
Pretty much.
Would you say those were his prime years, 85 to 89?
I would go to 92. And 90, remember 94 was the year when the Rangers won the cup
Yeah,
and
that was
the
brought up a
Knicks.
lot. That was brought up a lot this year because the Rangers lost last night. I don't know if you've been following them.
I'm a big Rangers fan, big hockey fan.
Yeah, if I had a team, it'd probably be the Rangers. I'm not a huge follower of hockey, um, but I know a lot of people are comparing like '94 to Knicks Rangers,
Yeah.
like where they were comparing this year to Knicks Rangers, and it was also the year that O.J. Simpson had the chase, and O.J. Simpson passed this year, so that was just a crazy coincidence. So people were putting together conspiracies like, "Well, Knicks are fucking going to the finals this year and shit." Um,
So I would say 85 to 94. I'd give him more time than that. But you have to remember also, this was a time of bigs. We're
oh yeah,
talking Olajuwon, Shaq, um, David Robinson, uh,
Alonzo Mourning,
Alonzo Mourning, Lonnie
even though
Cycli,
was
Rick
was
Smits.
Was Alonzo Mourning Patrick Ewing's son? Did Ewing own Alonzo
Owned
Mourning?
it every time.
He owned him.
Owned it,
That,
owned it
that's
every
that's
time.
what I heard of what I've seen. Like he owned Alonzo Mourning.
Owned
Um,
it every
and
time.
obviously it didn't help that Michael Jordan was in the league. Jordan ruined everyone's chances. It seemed like.
Exactly.
And when the Knicks did go to the finals, so was Jordan in baseball that year? The Knicks went to the finals and played.
Yep.
Okay, so he's still because they had to go through the Bulls. I'm guessing even without Jordan.
And
But
yet I think that's when they that's when Pippen had a great year. Like,
mhm,
it was his team. Because that was before Kukoc came. Remember Tony
okay,
Kukoc, the
yeah.
Italian kid who was pretty good? I think
He was
that
a
was right
he was a
before.
lefty. Yeah.
Hmm.
And
Yeah.
it's just unfortunate also that when the Knicks went to the finals, Ewing was fantastic, but Olajuwon was just better. Would you say that?
Yeah.
That was just unfortunate.
Akeem Olajuwon
Is he the
had
best
to be
center ever? Is he the best center
that
ever?
I've seen. That I've seen. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
discounting like Bill Russell.
Exactly. And
Because I think
yeah.
I didn't see him, but I think he's better than Shaq.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, yeah, just unfortunate, just unlucky career Ewing probably had.
Olajuwon was creepy good. Like to this day, I mean, remember when Kobe went to Houston to train with him to learn his post? That
Mm.
Olajuwon, he would, fake spin, come around, and yeah, Olajuwon was
Well,
crazy.
I don't know if you the one guy on the Rockets. He got hurt this season. He was candidate for most improved player. Alperen Şengün. He's their
Yeah,
center. He's training with Hakeem. He has really good footwork. He was averaging like over 20 before he got hurt. So maybe he'll
and,
be something.
and almost averages like 8 or 9 assists a game
Yeah,
too.
they kind of compare him to Jokic. Yeah, I think he played in Turkey before he came over to the league. I actually have a video on him on my channel. I said he's gonna be pretty good, man. Well, he turned out to be pretty good. His knees were finished by 92. Knicks ran out of steam. Said Ewing had to develop a mid. Did Ewing have a mid range though? I thought he had a mid
Ewing
range.
had a crazy jumper. Yes,
Okay,
Ewing had a
because
crazy jumper.
there was some comparison. Obviously, he is way more dog and way better defender. But I remember there being like Conley Towns getting compared to Ewing, like when he was
Yeah.
drafted.
If put it this way, Ewing could play in this league now because he would have developed a three. He was dropping 18 footers with
Hmm.
no sweat, like boom. And when you're 7 foot and you're jumping with a high release, who's blocking that shot? You know what I
Yeah,
mean? Like, who's blocking that shot? He could play in this league. He could absolutely play in this league. Like I
yeah,
don't like you were talking about Shaq before. I don't think Shaq could play in this league now because it would always be an offensive foul.
it's true. The officiating is a lot different. What's going on, Fritz? But I wanted to check out the free agents. I know it's a weak free agency class. I know it's kind of smaller on your screen, probably on your phone, so I'll read them out. So what positions do you value right now if you're the Knicks heading into free agency? Are you valuing backup guard, power forward? Um, are you Are you good with backup shooting guard because we have McBride, or do you think we'd
Now,
still try to get a veteran minimum guy
are we
just in case?
talking? Are we considering everybody's coming back?
So
Because
yeah, let's
that's
say.
a big part of it.
Do you think Burks is gonna be back? Do you think Burks is gonna be back?
I think he should be back because we can get him for cheap. He's a Tibbs guy. Doesn't mind coming off the bench. He can play. I mean, I don't like him at the point, but he can run the point. So, yeah. I mean, on a veteran minimum, I take him back. Why not?
I do think we're gonna bring. I do think we're gonna just pretty much bring or run it back, but I wouldn't mind just adding like one more bench piece. Yeah, I'll be real. I don't think anything's changing to the starting lineup. Like I think
Oh no,
Dante. Like, do you think there's a world that Dante's even like better this season? I mean, upcoming
absolutely,
season.
absolutely. I think
Gotcha.
this year built up his confidence. Remember, he started off on the bench,
Yeah.
worked his way up, and held that starting job. I think that's why they were willing to move on with quickly and RJ because Dante was showing so much progression.
Yeah,
So
it's crazy. It's really insane to think about that. Grimes is starting over him, and we're thinking about like what Grimes' improvement was going to be, and now he's in Detroit, and there was a point he wasn't even getting time. But oh my, someone posted something on Twitter just reminding me of the freaking game versus the Pistons that we almost lost this season, and it's crazy that Grimes. Well, do you remember the game Grimes went off for like 17 in the fourth or something
17
insane?
points.
I really thought we were gonna lose that shit. And then there was the controversy on the DiVincenzo fouled Thompson. That game was fucking wild. Let's see what else is going on in the chat. But yeah, I appreciate being here, Fritz. He said something
Shout
about
out Fred.
Shaq. Let me get to the chat. I try not to miss the comments. He says Ewing was shooting well, but he was slow and methodical. Fritz is a Knicks fan, by the way. He says Shaq would dominate still. Toronto drafted Camby. Buzzbeater Melo was that dude. He just needed help. I'm not talking about Melo anymore. Oh, Shaq would kill this era. I think the Knicks may skim most of free agency. I can see that happening because so if we re-sign Hartenstein, which probably are, we bring back OG. Like we bring back the guys we're supposed to bring back. Let's say we bring back Precious on the cheap, like under 10 mil or something like that. Will we have like enough money left over to even like make some free agency moves?
Maybe a mid-level exception.
Yeah.
I think that's it. Maybe a mid-level. But
Let me look.
how much are you willing to give iHeart?
What was the market we were talking about before with him? So in total, would he be getting
15.
like? In total, will be getting like 60 to 70 mil around there, right?
Right. And I think that adds about to like 17 to 19 a year. Give or
Hmm.
take. I could be wrong.
You think there's gonna be a player option on that, or like a team option or something?
How much you willing to give the kid?
Do you think we're? You think he's gonna be able to? You think he's gonna take less with us, or the Thunder are gonna like? You think he's gonna be interested in the Thunder?
I think he likes it here. I think the biggest advantage that we have, I think
Yeah.
our team loves being here.
So it. But go ahead.
I think our players love being here. I think they like each other. They get along. They all seem close. And another thing, the roommates podcast, I think also showed a lot of light on that. When we got to see other players come in
Yeah,
and then
they bring Hartenstein on the podcast, and then it's just like and then he leaves. So 15 hours ago, Bleacher Report writes that the Knicks can offer Hartenstein a maximum contract of 72.5 million over 4 years, which rounds out to a little more than 18 million per year.
it's a lot of money, bro.
Dude, if I love Hartenstein, I love the passing he brings. He's a good screen setter. Does play with a lot of energy. His defense kind of scared me in the playoffs a little bit. I'm not gonna lie, but maybe maybe he'll look different healthy with another physical body with Randall out there. We did have like a 6'4" guy power forward. As much as I love Hart, I still
Yeah.
think having a taller player, especially in the playoffs, helps. Um, Fritz says, I guess he hasn't looked at the cap table. The Knicks, unless they start cutting players, will have a tough time using a whole mid-level without going into the second tier. Well, who do we cut? Are we gonna cut? Why the fuck did
Yes, you're
Jacob?
right, Fritz. You're right, Fritz.
So with Jacob Toppin, we signed him to like that 1 year. He's on the two-way or something. I
Yeah.
think we have like Dwayne Washington, Jr., Charlie Brown. I don't know if he's on a 1 year, but I'm guessing those guys aren't gonna be brought back unless they think of Charlie Brown as like our Pinson from that 1 year, that one like cheerleader on the bench that just tries.
Theo Pinson.
Yeah, he. I don't even think he's in the league anymore. He just has like a podcast. I'm looking at these free agent point guards. So there's Kyle Lowry. I think Philly might bring him back because he's from Philly, or maybe he'll just retire. Um, D'Angelo Russell was
Would
a
you
player
run
option.
Kyle Lowry as a backup? He's a Nova guy. If we can get him on a veteran minimum, would you do it?
I would have
Let's say,
on a
let's take
veteran
this.
minimum. On a minimum,
Let's
no,
take
I
this
wouldn't. I
scenario.
wouldn't mind it at all. Obviously, not
Take,
starting.
yeah, I mean, oh no, obviously, but let's say, um, this scenario where we have to re-sign everybody, right? And we all agree. I think the chat will too. We need a backup point guard badly.
Mm-hmm.
Would you take Kyle Lowry? Could he be a Derrick Rose for us? What Derrick Rose did for us a few years back.
Does he have that scoring left in the tank? We saw. I know he was starting, but he had like 2 straight 0 point games to close out that series versus us.
Yeah.
He was also, I think, in foul. He's older. Um, and if I want to get, I don't think. Yeah, we wouldn't be able to afford Tyus Jones though.
Do you know what
Uh,
his contract is?
well, he's an unrestricted free agent. I don't know what was his contract before. Let me see. Tyus Jones. I think I've been going there. So last couple years, he was making 15 million and 14 million. How old is he? He's 28? He's 28 years old. He was with the Wizards. Do you think the Wizards will value bringing him back?
They have to. They're in bad shape. They're in
They have no.
bad shape.
They have no. They have no point guard, right? Or maybe they
No.
draft one. I don't know.
But is there any really good points in the draft this year? I mean, I've seen a lot of bigs. Most of them are bigs. That's
It's definitely not a safe. It's definitely not a safe draft. Someone should go for Reggie Jackson off the bench.
I like Reggie Jackson.
I don't mind him if he doesn't go back to Denver. I don't mind that.
I like Reggie Jackson. Actually, that's a good call. Whoever said that.
I
Shout
actually
out
think
to you.
I actually think Reggie Jackson's pretty solid.
I think he's
Um,
really good.
wait, is Dennis? Oh yeah, I see Reggie Jackson on the screen. Who else? Westbrook has a player option. Patrick Beverly, Cameron Payne, but that's another 1 year. I think Philly might try to bring him. They had so many 1 year contracts this year. Um, I don't. I think it's kind of a weak class. Aaron Holiday. Yeah, this is pretty weak. Oh my.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't see Spencer Dinwiddie ever coming to the Knicks. He hates the Knicks.
He hates the Knicks.
Yeah. Fritz says the Knicks need to draft a point guard most likely. Well, there is a guy projected, I think, in the 20s. His name is Jared McCain, and he says he like the inspiration for his game is he watches Brunson.
Where is he from?
He went to Duke.
Okay.
I stopped sharing my screen for a little bit because there was a little bit of a lag, but I think he's a smaller guard. He could shoot. I think he could play defense. I need to watch more of him. But let me see. So let me see this. Even though we're bringing back Hardenstein and Mitch will be back, I want to see if there's even like just a third stringer.
Just for the chat, Boston up 2, 7.5 to go, 68-66.
When the third quarter?
Third quarter.
And Boston's up 2?
Up 2.
Jeez,
Just hit a basket, up 4.
Let me see how much Tatum has. Tatum was he was better in overtime, but he was like stinking it up at some points of the last game.
Noah,
Go
is
ahead.
Jason Tatum overrated?
So for someone that's on social media a lot, if you go on Twitter, no, he's not overrated. He gets shit on a lot. I will say we jumped the gun too early on his career because he had so much success early. I don't think
Yeah.
anyone appreciates him. When you dunk on LeBron as a rookie in the playoffs, there's gonna be a lot of fucking hate. I mean, not a lot of hate, a lot of hype around you. But it's hard. Like we always say, like you would think the way he was being talked about that he would have 2 MVPs by now. He has 0. Like he has no championships. And it's hard for me to label him that he's gonna be an MVP because I don't think he always looks like the best player on the court. There's some games Jaylen Brown looks better than him. So I think he's a very good player. I actually think he's kind of, even though I hate the Celtics, I think he's kind of overhated. Like if you go on social media, but at the same time, when you go to the conference finals like this many years in a row, or well, like 5 out of the last 6 years, you're expecting a championship and you're in your prime. So there's going to be that criticism. So I think he deserves some of the criticism because that's just what comes with it.
Yeah.
Because you look at Brunson, it's only his second year with the Knicks. You go on social media, some people fucking saying like he's overrated, like non-Knicks fans saying he's overrated and shit. Just every player is going to be called overrated. It's just what it is. I bet just every best player in the league has been called overrated at some point. But yeah, let me see. Boston's up 4. Tatum's struggling. Dude has 4 points the third quarter. That's bad.
That's what I'm saying, man.
Jaylen Brown's carrying. It looks like he has 28. Derek White has 13. Yeah, you could say Derek White's been better than Tatum this run. Let me look at the Pacers. So Nemhard. By the way, dude, Nemhard was hitting clutch shots last game too. Maybe he's just a clutch player. I don't know. Halliburton has 10.7 assists. Obi has 2. I like to see that.
Yep.
McConnell has 7. Of course he does. Well, listen to this. Siakam has 26 points on 12 of 16 shooting. So
and isn't Tatum guarding him?
I would assume probably him and like maybe Horford sometimes. I don't know. But they're up 4 still. Like this is how good Boston is. This is how much of a gap there is. Even though I think like whoever in the West is going to win the championship, if even if it's Dallas. But that's how much of a gap it is. The Celtics bench isn't doing shit. Tatum has 4 points and they're still up 4. Like that's how good of a team. And they don't have Porzingis right now.
That's crazy. And they
Like
said he'll be back for the finals.
Yeah. Like if this was the Knicks, Brunson has 4 points right now. They're losing by 30.
Easy.
Because our room for error is like this much. We could only have that much room for error with the Celtics. It doesn't even matter. Let's see what the chat's saying. I'll read a few more comments than I had. I was not expecting to be alive this long. I'm not gonna lie.
Dude, it's almost 3 hours. I didn't even
yeah,
realize.
it's almost been 3 hours. Appreciate you guys being here.
Shout out to the chat.
A shout out to the chat. At first, it was kind of like slow, and then more people come in. I think it's like during nighttime. Some people probably get off their shifts, and they're probably just like tuning in. Cliff says, "Oh my god, bro, this is why we should have talked about Melo. I'm not."
We got people triggered. We got them triggered, bro.
I need to get a Carmelo interview one day, and I just need to like troll him. Tatum comes up short in big games.
Agreed.
I don't know much about him. I'm guessing he's a prospect. Cam Spencer would be a great fit. What position is he? He says perhaps he would play at least summer league. He isn't gonna leave there to sit on the bench all game. Yeah, people keep talking about Rokas Jokovitis. I don't know if he's ever coming over.
How good is he?
I know people talking about him like he was next Ginobili. I'm kind of done with him.
I know, like who is this dude?
Oh, someone's saying Tyus Jones will be in the 20s this summer, no longer a backup. Like he's gonna be getting a lot more money. Okay, damn. Yeah, we're probably not gonna be able to afford him. I would just probably draft a backup guard this or I would draft a backup guard or probably get Reggie Jackson. That's what I'm doing if I'm the Knicks. Like if Reggie Jackson's not there and the Nuggets scoop him up, then probably draft one.
What about Schroeder? Is he a free agent?
It's a good question. Let me see. I'll search it up. Dennis Schroeder. I don't mind him. I think where was he with Brooklyn this past year?
Yeah.
All right, Dennis Schroeder. He's an unrestricted free agent 2025 2026.
Oh, next year. Okay.
Yeah. He's getting 13 million this upcoming season.
That's not
So
too bad.
Yeah. But I think Knicks might draft a point guard. You know I'm gonna defend Melo, bro. Justin Knicks says Spider or Mitchell. That's the most popular talk. One of those guys. I don't mind getting Reggie Jackson or Patrick Beverly. I don't know if Patrick Beverly will ever get another contract with the team after what he did.
Oh, man, he's goofy. Like
He's
too. He got emotional issues. Like he needs therapy.
Well, what did he throw? Like he threw a water bottle at a lady twice, and then basketball. My bad. Threw a basketball at a woman twice, and said like
hit her in the head and everything.
Why am I laughing? Oh my gosh!
And
said
then
like
after in the interview, he told that reporter, "Do you
subscribe to my podcast?" Yeah.
No. And she's like, "Well, you gotta go." Like, dude is crazy.
Ever since Game 2 of the Knicks series, Siakam's been on fire. Yeah, he was cooking in that Bucks series. Obviously, no Giannis helps, and that's the one thing with Portis. He's a cone on defense. Oh yeah, now people bringing up like Melo charity shit, like just defending Melo to the ultimate. You would think he's still on this team. I'm planning on making an OG video tonight. I'll check that out, Fritz.
Oh, he got a channel. Okay.
Yeah, check out Fritz. You could drop your channel if you want.
Yeah, put that on the chat, Fritz. I'll check you out.
The reason why I say Pat Bev is because of the energy. Yeah, if he didn't do that shit, I probably wouldn't mind him because we'd probably get him on a cheap deal. But
he would be a tips guy, no doubt about it. He's a tips guy.
That definitely is a tips guy for sure. But yeah, guys, been live for 2 hours and 46 minutes. Shout out to Carl for coming on. Had Isaiah on earlier. Yeah, there you go, right there. The NBA Economy Show on YouTube. You could subscribe to him.
I'll see you there.
Yep. Shout out to Carl. Shout out to Fritz tuning in. Jay.
Isaiah.
Cliff. Yep, Isaiah. I wasn't planning on doing this live stream, but I was like, why not? Turned out to be pretty good. So appreciate all you guys. Carl, thank you for coming on.
Share this video. Send it to your friends. Get the likes up. Let's go, people. Let's get Noah and Clutch up there, man.
Thank you, man. I appreciate that. Let's go Knicks. It's a shitty end.
You ain't got nothing on him.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Hit the like. Thank you, man. I appreciate that for it. Let's go Knicks. It's a shitty way to end the season, but it was definitely a fun season that we'll look back at. I appreciate it now already. It's just obviously you wish we had more success, but we'll be back next season. And I think we'll be better next season. We'll be in the conference finals. We'll be in the conference finals next year. I'll be disappointed if we're not. Honestly.
Are you covering the draft? Real quick before you go, are you gonna cover the draft?
I probably will be live for the draft.
Nice.
I'll be live for the draft. We have a couple first rounders, so we'll see what happens with the picks. See what happens. AP, thank you, man. But yeah, everyone. Yep. But yeah, everyone, have a great one. Appreciate y'all tuning in. Have a good night. Have a good one, Carl.
Later, y'all.